Hello, good people. Good morning to you all. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to Chelsea Perspective. Welcome back to another, yes, it is a transfer show on Chelsea Perspective. The news with regards to Mauricio Pochettino being announced, and we'll talk about also the players that are being linked with a move to Chelsea. Players were told that he wants the club to sign. I know some of them are probably not correct, but we'll compare them to see which of them makes sense at all. And sorry, without the coffee, I usually sound a bit confused, but I'm fine now. I hope you're all doing well, more importantly. So sit back, relax, and let's get into the show. I think it's going to be a very good show today with quite a lot to talk about, some of which you people in the chat will bring up. So sit back, relax, and let's get into the show. People, good morning, a good afternoon, and a good evening. I wholeheartedly offer whatever suits your time zone. I hope you're all doing well today. Thank you so much for finding the time to join in the show. I hope you're eating blue, sleeping blue, waking up blue, and overall living the blue life. Welcome once again to another transfer show on Chelsea Perspective. We'll cover news on everything at Chelsea, and some of the topics will be we'll cover, we'll be from those in the chat. But more importantly, thank you for joining. Let's see what else what we have in the chat before we move on to addressing the topics one by one. Let's see, as usual. But before I say hello to anybody in the chat, I'd like to let my bro Liam Lane know if he's watching that I haven't forgotten about him. Hopefully, I will remember to send him a message soon to know how he's doing. And while that is happening, please keep dropping the likes on the stream. The likes do go a long way. And also, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't. That will also go a long way. Thank you so much. And let's see, the first to comment here is Muslim Cartoon. Says, Coach, are you excited about Poch? What is the minimum target for next season? And you see him winning silverware. I think he will win silverware, but we have to be patient with him. I'm not too sure about the coming season, but I'm just going to face it this way. I think we'd end up doing well, even doing way better than a lot of people believe we can do in the coming season. But something else, again, there's something that has to happen first, which is being strategic in the summer, not just to throw money at players, but sign players that will help balance out the squad. We need a traditional DM, we need a central attacking midfielder, we need a number 9. What sort of number 9 at this point, I don't know. But you could argue that if you follow Mauricio Pochettino's history, he doesn't use the stereotypical number 9s. He prefers a hybrid number 9, a number 9 that's capable of, don't just stay in the box and wait for his teammates to send the ball into the box so he can get at the end of them. A number 9 that's capable of dropping deep, participating in the play, and creating chances for his teammate. I think that's the sort of number 9. From what the little I know about him from you can say from Tottenham and Southampton, the two teams. PHC, I have to look at it again and see what players he had on the he had again available to him during his tenure as a PSC manager. But that's by the way, we move on from that. I think he would do well. And what else do we have here? Jerry Z, big up, brother. Jerry Z says, it's that time of the year. Yes, it is. Coach, let's celebrate when a Poch is announced. I am excited beyond imagination. Believe me, I know he'd do well, but we may well need to be patient with him. We need to be patient with him. But I think we'll be surprised a lot of people in the coming season. what's his time? What is his time at PSG? What his time at PSG taught him is he needs to return to his essence with all his passion and intensity, not dissimilar to the relationship he enjoyed with his players at Spurs. I think he looks like a smart guy to me. I think he should be able to learn from areas that things went wrong for him at PSG, which I don't want to get into. For me, overall, I think he overachieved at Tottenham, and I think he'll be able to achieve quite a lot with us. But we have to be patient with him. Poch took time to agree. He didn't want a repeat of PSG. He was making sure that Bolly and Co. Agreed that he will have a certain control, unlike PSG, where Poch was not allowed to be Poch. I mean, that's a solid argument, but I have to say, I don't. There's no way to tell what really, transpired there. We weren't there. We just, come look at things on a surface level, or what we heard, and draw conclusion from that. Big up yourself, brother. I hope you're doing well. Brianni Yahayu, aka 343 Dilemma, aka Contender FC. I think I'm still missing one, aka Vivel FC. Big up, brother. You have a very dynamic name, but I like to deal with remembering them. Have you read what Arsenal fans on Twitter are saying? They will win a UEFA Champions League next season, and clubs like Chelsea don't have a future. I say a diluted level of the roof. Here's the thing. I think they haven't learned anything about the reason they're struggling at the season. I think those players are still very, very young. They still have quite a lot to learn. I don't think they have the experience to win the Champions League. That's some lack of experience in depth that has led to them bottling the league title. It's the same reason why I don't think actually it'd be difficult actually for them to make it out of the group. It depends, but by the time we get the draws, we'll see whether they'll be able to get out or not. But that's why we'll move on from that. I mean, they have every right to dream. Yeah, let's see what they do. Let me see what else we have here. Just saw a video 4 minutes long, of Gary Neville on Sky Sports talking about Poch. Can you kindly play and watch with us? It does say a lot. Thank you. I do not have the right to play the video. Something as simple as that could actually lead to the channel being shut down, or maybe getting a copyright strike. So, had you told me this earlier, I think I would have tried. I would have tried up the best I can to reach the rightful owner of the video in question and get the permission to play it on here live. But I just can't do that without that. Coach, the stream goes 1 hour forward, and the anticipation is off the chart. It's off the chart. Anticipation is indeed half the fun. I understand, brother. Apologies. We should have started earlier, but I'm not going to start going into what happened. I do everything myself, but I'm recruiting right now. I want a team. I want a studio engineer, a co-host, and all that, so the workload is easier. For instance, we should be doing at least one members-only show per week, but the whole thing is just too much. Plus other things, but I don't want to talk about here. But I think we'll find a solution as soon as possible. Yeah, thank you for saying that. Good afternoon to you all. Good afternoon to you too, Sonny Igbeams. Always nice to see you. It looks like you're a Manchester United fan, but you're welcome here. You're welcome to join the conversation whenever you want. Just keep it civil and do not insult anybody or abuse anybody. Please keep dropping the likes on the stream. We have 28 likes. And quickly, I want to say thank you to those of you who are watching from home, but for one reason or the other, not able to join in, to participate in the chat. I just wanted to let you know that you do provide great value to the community, and we appreciate that. But we need one more tiny bit of favor from you. Please take a second, drop a like on the stream. Help us get to 200 likes by the time the show ends. That will go a long way for us. And if you're a moderator, please keep reminding people to keep dropping the likes on the stream to help us get to 200 as soon as possible. The likes do go a long way, so that I'll continue hosting the show and talk less about the likes. Yeah, good afternoon to you too. And here, John, my friend, that says, congratulations, Chelsea ladies, beating Manchester United ladies yesterday in the Women's FA Cup final. Score was Chelsea ladies 1, Manchester United 0. Here's the thing, I think I was following it on the app. I didn't watch it even though it was on TV. I think What game? I think the Man City game was on at the same time. I didn't want to watch. I was doing something else and following the Man City game. I think so. Yeah, I think that was what happened. And the people are still typing on Twitter. Let's go, Chelsea, and boom! It seemed that it looked at it as if Manchester United had scored. I think the goal was ruled out for some reason. I didn't pay attention to, but let's move on from that. John, thank you so much for saying that. Chelsea women are now 3 times winners in a row. I think you could argue they're the strongest in the league. The only thing I want them to win next is the Women's Champions League. They deserve that. On 2 occasions, they've been knocked out. One was the final, and in this year's knocked out again by Barcelona. Barcelona beat them in the final last year. This year, I think, I think this year in the semifinals. I don't remember. 12 likes. As I've just pressed it. Okay, thank you so much for doing that. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. My dream is to become a mod on your YouTube channel. It will happen. There's a due process to that. Once it gets to that point, believe me, you will become a mod. Also, a big up to you to Santiago Muno. I hope you're doing well. The link to the membership is pinned at the very top. You can become a member if you want to. It helps us sponsor students every month. I do a giveaway, what we call the Stay in School project. And yeah, keep dropping the likes on the stream, and also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. The likes to go along with. Thank you so much. I sincerely do appreciate that. Let's see, what else do we have here? This says I've sent you. Okay, yeah, I'll look at it. Thank you so much. And Gakun test. Here we go. What? I'm not sure what to make of that. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes to go along with. Nice intro, coach. First time hearing it suits you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Brian 19. That's the intro we use when we talk transfers. I have to change the Men View Morning Show intro, but I haven't had the time to do that. Enough of the newfound mediocrity at CFC. CFC targets must be a top 3 finish and not that of a top 6. I think I expect us to do better. We just have to be strategic in the summer. We don't just have to sign players for the sake of it. If we are strategic, I think we have a squad good enough to actually win the league. I know a lot of people think otherwise, but let's see. That's me. It's my opinion, and I'm allowed to dream. More importantly, Poch got contest in preseason with flush out the non-Chelsea standard players. I think I agree with you. Now I understand what you were talking about. I've heard so much with regards to his approach. If you're not able to run, you cannot be a Chelsea player. He will, call you out for what it is, and if anything, maybe ostracize you from the team. And I want to see that. I want him, to be your friend, but at the same time, make you understand you're being paid to work, and working means to do a lot of running. Be fit enough to do a lot of running. Given his approach, high press and the high line and all that, you have to be very fit. And that begs the question. I think I was going to say that begs the question how Thiago Silva fits, but I realize what I've always preached. I think his most, you could say, valuable tool is this intelligence, footballing intelligence. He reads the game so well that even if you're quicker than him, you will not get a chance to race against him, let alone beat him in a race, if that makes sense. Big up to you too, Phil Seeds. Always nice to see you. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people, and also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. We are at 41 likes today already. It looks like we're going to get to 300, but it's up to you. It says a big up, coach. Arsenal first lost UEFA League. Arsenal first lost, lose a UEFA League, and say it's good. So they now focus on winning Premier League. Now they complain as to why people consider it a bottling Sawgrapes. I'm not sure what to make of that, but I understand what you mean. I think they will be complaining quite a lot. They will find an issue to try to make up excuses as to why they were not able to win it. We'll hear quite a lot. I don't think we'll be hearing much right now because mathematically it's still possible for them to go ahead and win it. But let's see what happens. But more importantly, JC, my bro, thank you so much for finding the time to join in the show. I appreciate that. The game went very well, despite for us getting a 2-2 draw. But what is even tough is a home tie with Arsenal next week, along with Chelsea versus Man City. Patrick Joyce, always nice to see you. Thank you so much for finding the time to join in the show. Keep dropping the likes on the stream. My bro, Bobby says, so smash the like button, people. And also, we'll join you soon, Coach. Okay, thank you. Join whenever you can. It's not an obligation. I know we're all busy, but thank you for saying that. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. And like I said, if you're a moderator, keep reminding people to drop the like on the stream. And also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. The likes to go along with because Brighton have beat Arsenal at the Emirates. Forest could go with a win or a draw. And I think Man City will be champions. Forest won't be easy. They're fighting for their lives, so it's not going to be an easy game. But let's see what happens. Hopefully they get a win. I don't want Arsenal to win the league. I have friends that are Arsenal. If I was a neutral fan, if I wasn't, my club wasn't in London, I'd support them. But no, I'm a Chelsea fan. I would never say. I would never hope they win the league, except when it favors us one way or the other. Because Brighton beat Arsenal, I've read that one in here. My bro Tobeho, my brother from the Madiba land says, speak up everyone. Hope everyone is well. And hit the like button and subscribe. Yep, keep doing that, people. Here he says, let me see. Mr. Pochettino, welcome to Chelsea Football Club. Yep, welcome to Chelsea Football Club. We're hoping, we all hope that you come start winning something with us because we strongly believe that you were not able to win something at Sports because it's their thing. They don't win trophies. It's the culture to bottle the opportunities to win trophies. It's the culture not to invest properly in the squad, to ready them for trophies in the first place. So big up to you, bro. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for finding the time to join in the show. And apologies that I missed your stream yesterday. I wasn't at home. And if you're watching people, I think you started streaming again, and that makes me happy. Click the three dots to his name. Click go to channel. Please do subscribe. Let's help him get to 1,000 as soon as possible. He should. It's just that he's been occupied, with other priorities. But I know maybe it looks like he's going to start streaming more often than not. Now, moving from that, I predict Forest 2, Arsenal 2 for next week, and Man City 3, Chelsea 1. It's funny how Chelsea fans don't want us to even get a draw against Man City. Lots of Chelsea fans want Man City to beat us just because they want Arsenal to win the league, and we're safe now. No matter what happens, we're not going to get relegated. But it's one thing I can't get around to doing is to hope that Man City beat us, really. I'm not sure what to make of the situation. I'm not sure how to feel. I'm not sure what to expect, really. But that's who I am. We move on from that. And this one here says, also, I want to say well done to Chelsea ladies for winning the cup against Manchester United. Well done to them. At least you could say at the end of the day, we won some. We've won something this particular season, and I think they still have the women's league. So maybe 2 trophies. Chelsea could still win 2 trophies in the season. Arsenal are one-dimensional. Brighton cannot handle long ball football. Same as Arsenal cannot. But here's the thing. My observation from that Arsenal game is De Zerbi tactically. Actually, I think he outsmarted Arteta. You could say they employed a cautious approach, not too offensive, not too defensive. Defensive in the sense they were cautious, picking and choose when they attack, and they can keep the ball quite well. And you could say Arsenal, or you could say Arsenal, no matter how you say it. I think it's a solid argument to argue they're very good at counter attacks, and lots of their goals you could say. Quick transition, boom, they are at your box, and before you know it, they put the chances away. But the fact that Brighton slowed the game quite well, all Arsenal had to do is try to press them, within their own area to get the ball from them. On occasions it worked, but it worked more in favor of Brighton because a time went like this, and the more the game progressed, the more Arsenal got frustrated and realizing this may well end in a draw or a loss. But that's, by the way, we move on from that. JC, thank you. Always like to read your insights in the chat there. I appreciate that. Good morning, my Chelsea family. More blessings. Chadwick Evans, my Jamaican bro, Heisman. God bless you. Thank you so much for always finding the time to join in the show. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much. And this is my bro, the coolest stress, Charles. Here's the link to his channel at the coolest stress. If you copy that link there, you're looking at as it is. Press and go on your browser. You will say, please do subscribe. He is my own brother, and not just that. Beyond that, he understands football quite well. And when you hear him speak, you know he loves. Again, he loves and understands and very knowledgeable of the game. And he should have at least 1,000 subscribers right now. So let's help him grow his channel. Please go subscribe and let him know I sent you. Thank you so much for obliging. If Man City refuse to beat Chelsea and Arsenal, beat Forest, it will go down the final day on the 28th. Right? I haven't really done the calculations, but I think there are 3 ways Man City can win it. If Arsenal draw their next game or so, I think I'll find it. So we'll look at it together. There are 3 ways they could win it. One would be if Arsenal draw their next game or so, and they win the next one. I think it's over. I can do that off the top of my head. Let's see. Hopefully, Roger is feeling well and he joins today. I think he must have done the calculations with his first sheet and he will help us. But more importantly, I hope he's fine. Yep. 36 likes already, people. A lot of people. Adebaya also, Makunju, my bro. I am charging you to please help me. Always remind people to keep dropping the likes. We're 36 likes right now. Let's try and get it to 200 likes by the time the show ends. I know we can. But thank you for that question. I think I'll find a way to educate us so that we can look at this together. I feel sorry for who? I'm not sure who you're referencing. Brianna Rahai, you have not read about GA contest by Poch. Oh, is it? I think maybe it's not a term. You're referencing the situation where he had them walk on a hot charcoal and something they tried breaking an arrow on their neck or something like that. I read something to that effect, but I don't know the term GA contest. It's not a term I'm that familiar to. I might have come across it before, but don't really know what it means. So I'm not just going to pretend I know. But thank you for saying that. And maybe I just learned something new. I know people do that before. Or something. I think it has something. It has a spiritual value or something like that for spirituality or something. But I don't know what it's called. I think that's what you're referencing. Correct me if I'm wrong. I need to learn of what that is. So you see, we'll learn every day. But thank you so much, Brianna, for saying that. What else do we have here? This is Southampton to get relegated after 11 years in the Premier League. Bad luck to the Saints. I would just say it's down to bad luck. They had all the season, to play well, to get points, not to get relegated. So I'm not going to say it's bad luck. Maybe there's something they didn't do right. Hopefully they get back soon. But I hope so. Coach, do you think we will hear from Poch once he is unveiled this week? I think if the hierarchy don't see any statement from him as a sort of distraction for Frank Lampard, I think we may well hear from him, but I'm not too sure what's going to happen. The more important thing is to announce him already. Announce him, let's get it over with. But we don't know. I have my theory. Like I said, maybe they're going to leave him until we play our last game before they announce him. So that however we do, however the remaining games pan out, they have something to cheer us up with, announcing the new managers. That's how I see it. But I'm going to move on from that. But let's see what happens. And my bro, Adebayo Makunju says, here we go, folks. Hit the like button. Yes, brother. Keep dropping the likes on the stream. We're 37 likes. Let's get it to 100 and shoot for 200. We need to get it to 200 likes today. And JC, my bro, says, Coach, we have a good squad to win the league. But the manager who usually underperforms or dies about the job. I don't think Poch is that man. I think he won something at PSG, and they didn't give him enough time. For some reason, I don't know. I'm not well acquainted as to why he was fired fired from his job at PSG. But I think he'd do better at Chelsea. But bear this at the back of your mind, and I'm sure you feel the same too. We need to be strategic in the summer. Sign players in areas even the average fan would tell you we need a traditional DM, we need a striker. Or what profile of striker? Maybe or not just stereotypical striker. And also we do need a central attacking midfielder. I get it. Some people will say we have lots of attacking midfielders, but how many of them you could say is capable? Is any of them capable of producing the number of assists that we see from we used to see from the likes of Cesc Fabregas, or let me use the word type of assists we used to see from the likes of Cesc Fabregas and Juan Mata, which is mainly creating clear-cut chances from central areas. Even though we have lots of eight, majority of the chances we've created do come from the flanks and down the campus, which makes us unpredictable, if that makes sense. And I'm going to keep preaching that until that changes. Maybe Arsene Ryan, the Russian kid, maybe he'd be that guy. But let's see what else we have here. I want to know the players that Chelsea have signed this summer. We haven't signed any. Ousmane Tolo, Kamara, we haven't signed any. We're not. The summer isn't here yet, actually. But let's move on from that. What else do we have here? I wonder who would be the second team in the Premier League to get relegated by guess. Your guess it's Everton, and third team Leicester or Leeds. I'd have to look at that. The bottom table again to say, to pick out the most likely to remaining teams to get relegated. But those names you mentioned, they're still there. Let's see what else we have. People, it looks like at the point I'd have to skip to the very bottom of the chat to get something else we have there. I would love for us to sign James Ward-Prowse. Let's see what happens. I'm not sure the club were looking at him. I want to know the players that Chelsea want to sign in the summer. All rumors. We're linked with every good player that you can think of. You go ahead. Declan Rice, Moises Caicedo, Alexis McAllister, especially lots of Argentine players right now. One Uruguayan, which is, what's his name? Manuel Ugarte. We're linked with a move to him. There are all lots of, they're everywhere, which you know quite well that we cannot sign all of them, which is why we don't know until we can, when we get to the summer transfer window, we'll have more clarity as to what players we're really looking at. Nottingham Forest will stay up for a 17th place. You think, okay, let's move on. And Jerry Z here says, and Southampton achieved the highest finish under Poch. It should tell you how Poch overachieved at Saints as well, Coach. Although I don't know his Southampton team that well, although I respected them, how well they played. They were well drilled during his tenure at the club then. I started paying more attention to him when he joined Tottenham. But thank you for saying that. And please let me say something here. So to avoid having too many stuff to read, otherwise I'm going to skip it. I'm going to be skipping quite a lot. Please, instead of typing one message after the other, bulk them up. That will help us to avoid having too many different topics in the chat at the same time. Because switching between topics like this, it's exhausting. As much as I enjoy interacting with you, it doesn't make any sort of sense to be switching between topics every 10 seconds. It can be tiring. A lot of people mentioned my bro. Good morning, Coach, and everyone. Good morning to you too. I hope you're doing well. And he says, finally, Pochettino is made up public. Really? What did you see that said it's made public? Is it things we're still seeing from we're still seeing from the Twitter journalists and all that? Do we have an official statement from the club and I don't know about it? But please do let me know. I want to know why you said finally it's made public. I know who Chelsea should sign. Ronaldo from Al Nassr. I don't think we're going to do anything Ronaldo now. It's something that I don't think we'll be able to deal with. He comes with a lot of drama. And a contender FC says, by announcing Poch, it's like celebrating victory over Tottenham. You could say that. I think I agree with that. I agree with you with regards to that. And that, yeah, I see that. It's the same thing as saying, Arsenal not winning the league is as the same thing. We'll be celebrating like we won the league, if that makes sense. If West Ham win the Conference League, does that mean an eighth place team qualifies for Europe? I'm not sure if the rules have changed. And somebody saying even teams in sixth position will get Champions League in the coming season. I'm not sure when that comes into effect. The rules have changed, but I'm not well acquainted with the rules. Well, Brighton got rid of their frauds. Potter and Cuckoo replaced them with legit folks. Then that explains why they're fighting for a European place. And credit to Bezevi. I think what we're seeing right now isn't really the Potter Brighton. I think they've changed in a lot of ways. They're more direct, more purposeful with their approach and everything. Even though they're not just passing the ball around for the sake of it, except when it's too tight. But the slightest of spaces they find, be rest assured they will come at you. Hello, Blue Family. Hello to you too. Hasn't been a good season, but forward we move. Excited to see us on the porch next season. I feel the same. Let's see what else we have here. I think Brighton could qualify for Europe if they get 2 more wins. I think you could say, had it not been for bad officiating, they'd already be be occupying a European place. But the officiating hasn't helped. Coach, what do you think about Lukaku and his agent demanding Chelsea to cover his wages so he can get another loan at Inter Milan? It doesn't make any sort of sense. And if we accept to do that, then we're stupid. If he wants that, then let's come to an agreement, terminate his contract, save us some money, and move on with the bulk of money that he will get from us. But I don't think it'd be a good idea to just accept him remaining at Inter Milan while we cover his salary. It's stupid. It's either he agrees for us to terminate his contract or he comes home. If he wants to stay at Inter and demand that we cover his salary, he should come back to us. We're paying him. So if he doesn't want to come back, then we can say, you breaching, the contract. So what we're going to do is terminate the contract. You're then obliged by the rules and the contract and all that. So but let's see. The owners will handle that. The rumors are that he's going to come back, sit and talk with the owners. Then we go from there. So let's move on. What else do we have? I'm going to skip quite a lot to get to the very bottom, please. I can't read everything in chat, especially when the comments are coming in bit by bit. It's because Southampton have spent 150 million in the transfer market on new players, and it hasn't worked. What are you learning from that? Sometimes, if the change, if you make a drastic change to a team, it can backfire. You have to be strategic with your signing, and improve the team bit by bit, and not be drastic about it. Which you could say one of the reasons why we struggled. Also, we signed too many new players at the same time. Rogers have to finalize his pro bono contract with Pochettino today. I guess he will be busy. Pochettino would need protection in case of hard times, just in case. Roger will always play the devil's advocate. Will always see things from a different angle, which makes us, before you present a counter argument against Roger, you have to think. You have to see things from an intellectual perspective sometimes to be able to beat them in a debate or argument. But let's keep dropping the likes on the stream, people, and also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. We're at 45 likes. Let's get it to 50 and shoot for 100. Please keep reminding people to do that. And my bro Bobby Fairview is back after a while. For reasons he told me, been busy, and I understand because bills don't pay themselves. This channel was busy having faith when these clown owners were hiring directors that are elite, that an elite manager would never work for. Now we're left with a washed-up sports coach that chronically underachieves. Yes, then that's your opinion, really. And if you want me, I'm going to put up a poll to ask people whether they think Poch will underachieve at Chelsea. I think lots of more people will say no. And we've done that before. A lot of people think he would do well at Chelsea, and a lot of people think they will support him. But you're entitled to your opinion, and I've never questioned, his ability as a coach. I think for me, he actually overachieved that sports. and I think he would do well at Chelsea. If we have issue, I get it. Your complaint with regards to the owner's behavior and all that, I think it's legit. Lots of the stuff you've told us, well, again, we're gonna happen, are happening, and we're seeing that. But I appreciate you being back, brother. More importantly, always nice to have you in the chat. Let's see what else we have here. This, okay, I've read that one too. Is that a repeat? Okay, the other one hasn't actually shown. I still have issues with what I'm highlighting showing immediately. And now that Southampton are set to get relegated, Lavia, Livramento, and Kyle Walker-Peters on the cheap. I will, let me ask Bobby this quickly. Bobby, let me ask you this quickly, since you're there already. And big up to you. I appreciate you finding time to join. Can you help people understand how a team getting relegated, how that makes a player again leave for cheap? Is it because some players have a clause? Is it because the players have clauses on the contract that says once you get relegated, you're gonna let me go? So since they get relegated, those players certainly they're gonna leave. Is that the only thing that makes them, makes their transfer fee becomes cheap, or is there anything else?
Yeah, big up, coach. Big up, coach. Gosh, that Bobby Fairview, gosh, he's weird. He's constantly against the owners of the club, abnormally so. Anyway, coach, some players will have clauses, perhaps, to take them away from that. Some will simply just want to leave because they won't be motivated playing outside of the top flight. And the club may be in a process of reconstruction and want to make money, or rather conserve funds through the selling of players. There's multiple reasons. Often players just don't want to play in the lower leagues and opt to leave. Some decide to stay and hang out with the club. There's so many reasons. But usually you find like the big stars that are highly sought after by big clubs will put pressure to leave, and will often be allowed to leave because financing will reduce. It won't drop, straight away because of the parachute payments. But if they don't make it back straight away, it will affect the club. And most clubs tend to want to press the reset button if they're in that position.
Yep, thank you so much. And again, we're all entitled to our opinion. As long as nobody's abusing anybody, you are entitled to voice your opinion. Let's move on from that. Now, I've read that one. And this here says, Coach, can you brief me about the players who will be shown the exit door? There's a show planned for that. So no need to give you that. Ofori Maiganyam, bro, apologies for that. I'm not going to do that right now. But we will do a show for that. Just stay tuned. How much time before CFC wins the trophy again? I mean, the men's team. Here's the thing. I think that will happen sooner than later. We just have to be strategic in the summer. And I'm appealing to us all. The fact that the owners they've openly accepted that they made mistakes. I think we should move on and support our team wholeheartedly. The mistakes have been made, and no matter what we say, it doesn't change anything really. But we have every right to still voice our frustration and say what we could have done, how they could have handled things and all that. But if you can, let's move on from it. I think if anything, it causes more division within the fan base, and it doesn't change anything no matter how long we talk about it. I'm happy they've learned. Poch is going to sign a 3-year contract. Maybe maybe the construct may well be 2+1. We don't know, but that shows you they've learned not to give a manager a 5-year contract like they did with Graham Potter. That shows you they're capable of learning from their mistakes. So if we can move on from that and discuss the matter of hand at hand and not discuss something that lead to us fighting each other or taking things personal, I think it would be fair for all of us.
Coach,
Let's move on. Well, again, I'll try to get
coach,
the comments from people that I haven't read their comments here. Hello, Coach.
coach.
Lavia is now chief officially. You can't argue that.
Coach.
You can't argue that. Let me try, Bobby, just a bit. Let me catch up with more of what we have in the chat here. Let's see what we have. Uh, uh, Come on, can we not do that, please? Can we not do this? Can we not call people whatever that comes to? I don't think that's okay, please. Let's not do that. Let's be respect. Let's People are entitled to their opinion. Let's not go to the extent of saying somebody's a clown or anything. I don't think it makes sense. Everybody, we're all entitled to our opinions. The message in the shout out needs to change. I cannot be part of a community cheerleading the destruction of the Oh, okay. If that's how you feel, that's you. If you don't feel like, yeah, I don't think if you don't feel like, if we're not all on the same board with regards to, if we're not all focusing on talking about only the club's mistakes, that you don't want to be part of the community, that's up to you. Much respect to you. You know, I love you. I respect you, and I know how long you've supported this channel, but I cannot. Your opinion cannot be my opinion. I don't have to subscribe to your opinion. You don't have to subscribe to mine. But if that's how you feel, I'm sorry about that. You do whatever suits you. You want to do. Go ahead, Bobby. If you have something to say.
Yeah, I mean, this is your point actually about people being free to speak their mind. Now, if I've noticed that somebody is incessantly opposed to the ownership and constantly tweeting, commenting on streams about it, all I said was, "Wow, that's a bit extreme," and it is extreme. There's nothing to feel or to be abused about for saying that because it's quite excessive. Even the response to you now about not being in a platform that won't follow and do the same is an extreme position to take. I like to make reference to what Emma Hayes said yesterday. Now, I don't particularly follow the women's game. I think I've got my hands full and my head full enough with the men's game. But I did listen to what she said, and what she said was very insightful. And she said, look, after all the club has been through in the past 12 months plus, this includes the process of the sale and the fact that, the ownership haven't been here for a year. We have had a rough time. She said that she sort of dedicated the FA Cup win to the fans. And I thought that was quite insightful and a reflection of a balanced view of the reality of the situation. We can't keep attacking the ownership, who, in a funny sort of way, actually saved this club. The club was going down, and unless people like that stepped in and beat the due diligence in time, we wouldn't even have a club today. So I think we've got to step back. I have some strong views. I'm a long-standing Chelsea fan. Didn't particularly want Pochettino, but I'd like to think I'm broad-minded enough to take away the blue-tinted glasses, look beyond his Spurs past, and see what he can do for the club. There's a lot for him to work with, and there's a lot for him to be motivated to achieve. Not least to mention, he hasn't even won a trophy in the Premier League before, and I'm
Mhm.
quite sure he should be motivated to do that and some. So I think sometimes we need to sometimes backtrack on some of these excessively strong views. And that's just the point I'm making. And if I get attacked for
Yeah,
it,
I'm gonna say this thing quickly. Everybody in the chat, you have every right to call the owners whenever you want. Except if you go to the extent of calling, which we don't do here, I don't care who you are. Name calling in the sand is something derogatory. I hate to say that word. Something that you can say that crosses the line. I don't like it, and I don't condone that. But honestly, I'm gonna say this to you, bro. You know I love you, I respect you, but this is what I least expect from you. So if I don't subscribe to your opinion, then you're done. with the channel. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for all your support. And I appreciate you being a part of the channel all the way, and much respect to you. You're welcome to come back anytime. I'm a Chelsea fan, and I think Lampard is better than Mauricio Pochettino. But Chelsea need experienced coaches right now, as Chelsea is in transition. Wow, that's my argument right there. But right now, honestly, I'm seriously, I rarely am, but right now I'm seriously pissed. But I'm gonna move on from that. You're entitled to your opinion. Say whatever you like, but I don't have to subscribe to yours, and you don't have to subscribe to mine. The official announcement that should be made tomorrow, according to Julien Laurent, of flying flying from Barcelona to London tonight. I think the rumors were that he was going to fly in from Barcelona to London last night, but now we're learning that hasn't actually happened. Let's see what else we have here. We have JC. He says, what else we have here? I'm not just going to read that, but JC, big up to you, brother. Glenn, my bro, he says, big up, coach. A chat, latest usual, latest greatness. And welcome, brother. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for finding the time to join in the show. And we have JC, although we are clear of the Aggie, that name again, but the score will change. Danger of, we can still say the CFC could do better with another manager. My first choice has always been Hans Flick, but he's still engaged with the German job. After him, it was Luis Enrique, it was Nagelsmann, and then the shorter the list became, the more I have come to terms that at one point, actually, we read something, a report that clearly showed that Mauricio Pochettino has always been their first choice. Even when people thought it was Nagelsmann, it turns out they didn't consider him that much, actually. For some reasons, we do not know. And I think he sensed that. And we heard that he also said something to the effect of he thought that the interviews were just a mere formality, that the job was his, and which was why he pulled out. But despite the way, let's move on here. I'm going to try.
Coach,
Yeah.
please. I've got to redress this because this is a little bit hurtful. You know, you can't expect a platform that
let's move on from it. Honestly, we haven't changed. Have we turned to just talking about the honest? Let's move on from it. Seriously, just don't worry about it. I'm good. Honestly,
I admire your strength of mind.
If you know what I do, if you know what I do, you will know this is not a problem for me. Don't worry about it, Bobby. Let's move on. Honestly, Blue Morning, my bro, the Blue tip again. Big up, bro. I agree with Bobby for a few. I no longer recognize this club. Yeah, that's your opinion, and you know we both love each other and respect each other, but we disagree in terms of how we talk about the owners. But you haven't ever forced me to coach a stat bashing the owners, or you're done with me. But that's, by the way, we move on from that. This is it. What happens if Man City wins the Champions League? Will this put an extra team for a European place for us? I forgot how that works. IBC, can you help us with that? If you're there, brother. No, I don't think it does. I don't think it does. It doesn't, yeah.
It did in the past, but we started that when we won the Champions League and there was talk of having a fifth club. UEFA said no, that we have to stick to four. And that was why Spurs dropped out, because they finished fourth that season, remember, when we won it the first time. And we finished, I think, sixth or so. But because we won it, they had to drop out. So, no, we won't have more than 4 teams.
Yeah. And that's fine. And just say something quickly. If we all agree we don't have a show, you just go home. And it doesn't, that means something is wrong. If all, start doing the same thing, that means something is wrong. Good luck on the remaining 2 games at Chelsea, and I will always be there for you. Wow, that is very nice to see. Something positive. Support your team. Okay, here's the thing. And Bobby here says we are not moving on until Bali gets out of our club. We continue
Big
Shirley,
up, big up.
here's the thing. Let me just say something quickly. Speak for yourself, bro. You are not moving on. For me, I've moved on. For me, I've accepted it. For him to, again, I have to be as subjective as possible. For him to have come out openly and said they made a mistake, that means a lot to me. Even before that, I knew they're going to learn from their mistake, and I'd rather we stick with the owners that have made a mistake. You know, they're smart enough not to repeat the mistakes they've made, and they've hired people who've been in football for a while. Do I have questions with some people they've hired? I do, but things are looking positive. The future will be great for Chelsea. But
there
you're entitled to
something?
your opinion. It's as simple as that.
Is
Yeah, go
there
ahead.
a is there a particular issue this guy has with Bowley in
I
particular?
don't know, Bobby. He's entitled to his opinion, and I don't care. Again, it's his opinion. I can't turn the
Yeah.
channel to a channel where all we do is bash the owners. No, I have my opinion, and I think we should move on from calling out their mistakes. More especially now that they've accepted publicly that they made a mistake publicly. That they made a mistake. I think they will learn from it. Go ahead,
I've,
IBC. You wanted to
I've,
say something?
big up, everyone. How you guys
Big up to you
doing?
too, brother.
Today we should be having smiles and smiles. It's been a lovely day for me so far. I mean, watching Arsenal cry on their capitulation, watching Martin Keown blame Martin Tyler for their loss, watching Arsenal's tears.
IBZ, can I quickly ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do you feel some type of way that we are probably going to face yet again another humiliation and be the people to hand over the Premier League title to Man City? I mean,
No,
I wish it
I don't
wasn't
have.
so, but
I don't have no shame. What the hell?
okay. But it
We've got.
feels, oh gosh,
I've got
really
more. Listen. At this point, we're 12th. The shame left
can't
a
be any
long time ago.
worse.
You know what I mean? It left a long time ago. Man City, you need to win the league on Sunday. Come to the bridge. We'll
Oh
give it to
gosh.
you, mate. We've beaten you in the cup final before in the Champions League. So boy,
So
I
yeah,
don't
you can
really.
have this one.
You just have it, mate. We're
Just
not. We're
don't
not in
score
it. We're
too
not
many
winning it.
goals.
Do you know what I mean? We're getting
Don't
a new
thrash us
gaffer.
too
Have it. Arsenal, old that, yeah. You were selling top of the league shirts in January, talking about mentality monsters, what have you. Look at it there. So I'm happy. I'm looking in your chat and I'm seeing that there's a lot of clashes going on. What's going on, man? Why is people
It
not
doesn't.
happy?
Let's move on from it. We're all entitled to our opinions. Here's
Yeah,
the thing.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's why
What's the
we're here.
topic for today?
Quite a lot, but I'm just first of all, as usual, I'm just catching up with what we have in the chat. Yeah, quite a lot, and it's firing up. The chat is on fire. The
Yeah, man.
opposing,
Everyone's on fire.
the contrasting opinion. I'm doing the tapping on the beautiful game. It's what makes this show what it is. Really, people are allowed to voice their opinion. Go ahead. Were you still saying something, IBZ?
Yeah. I was just looking uh, at the chat, just trying to gauge the gist of what's going on. It seems like Bobby Fairview's not happy today with
No, here's the
Bowley.
thing. He's always had strong opinions with regards to the owners' behavior, what the mistakes they've made and all that, and I'm okay with it. But I think Bobby said something, used the word weird, referencing that he's been weird with the way he spoke. So that was what the whole thing played up to him, leading to him commenting that he's tired of this channel, cheerleading. To me, it's nothing really, but I just let him know I cannot turn the channel to what to all be all about his opinion or what he wants to happen. It's as simple as that. I've moved on.
No, I'm
from
with
it,
you.
really.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
not
man.
gonna slip on it.
I think I saw something like they've acknowledged their mistakes or something like that. Or
that's not the first time. I think now the second one is clearly they admitted firing Tuchel was a mistake, even though they didn't see him. They didn't see him as a sort of manager. That is worth keeping for long term, or it's going to be here for the long term, for the long run. They should have at least let him finish the season.
So they've come out and said we made a mistake on Thomas Tuchel.
Oh yeah, openly. Yeah, they've made a few mistakes here and there, but they will learn from it. They're human beings, I'm just saying they didn't become billionaires by not by making mistakes and repeating their mistakes. And you go through their history, the history of those men in question. None of them inherited their wealth.
Yeah,
they're all self-made. Yeah, but I just don't want to go down that path My point is, we're all entitled to our opinions. And believe me, if you're feeling for me, feeling like, no, it's not. But sometimes it comes across in a way that that person thinks it should be about how they think. But, that infuriates me, really. Pisses me about much respect to Bobby because he's a friend and a brother. And the Bobby on the panel of the same thing. I want to move on from that, really, so we can go ahead with the show. Arsenal bottling the league is something huge for me. It feels, again, it doesn't feel any different. It just feels as if we're winning the league. The fact they're not gonna, I feel like they're not gonna win it. Because if they end up winning it, wow, the banter, believe me, will be unbearable. Here's a question for people. When was the first moment you realized that something was concerning about new owners and CFC? For me, it was when the word All-Star game escaped Ball's vocal cords. Here's the thing. The only thing that came to mind to me was like I said to myself, these guys looks like they're gonna be for the Super League, which I don't blame them. It's business. Whatever pays more, they take their business to whoever pays, to whoever is willing to pay them more.
Okay, there's no Super League.
But I don't want the Super League though.
Super League ain't happening. All six clubs signed with the Premier League that we will not do that again. If we do that, there is huge ramifications for all six clubs, including Chelsea, Arsenal, Tottenham, Man United, Man City, all of that, Liverpool. That ain't happening. It might happen outside of England, but the idea of the six clubs are going to break away and form their own league with the majority of major clubs in the world, like they tried to do in 2020 what? Nah, that ain't happening again. That's binded. It ain't happening again. So
here's what I'm going to say. I think I would argue that those in charge of the Super League and everything probably knew that first attempt it wasn't going to work. It was more like it was more like testing the waters, and they paid attention to what led to the backlash that they experienced at the point, and they will go back go back to the drawing board, come out with something that a lot of clubs will be interested in, and a lot of with a construct that all what you can argue all federations won't have a problem with.
Maybe another 15 years, 20 years, they'll put that on the table. But
I don't know when, but it will most likely come back.
We witnessed a moment in time in sport where when breakaway clubs were about to form their own league. We witnessed a moment in time, and that was nipped in the bud, and it was sorted that history will never repeat itself in that fashion again. So again, anything can happen. But if that happens again, we just know that there will be the world it will not be the same if that was ever happen.
I haven't gotten to the comment in the chat. Glenn is saying we shouldn't worry because we're not going to get invited to the Super League anyway.
Exactly. Even so, you know what I mean?
At this point,
we're not even going to get invited at this point.
All right, keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. 62. It looks like we're going to reach 200 today. So thank you so much. It did say that England could have 8 teams in Europe next season. If we have if West Ham win Europe, that's a conference league. Okay. So I haven't taken my time to study the new rules and how that changes everything. That was a quite okay in the season. You kept on believing on the process for fairly a long time. I still, I wouldn't say I believe in the process. I just believe the owners, they've made a mistake, and I still strongly believe they are going to learn from their mistakes. I had doubts about the owners when they mentioned the All-Star game, but the nail in the coffin was 4-3-3. And
but you didn't have doubts when they were putting money down. You didn't have doubts when they were spending money left, right, and center. You guys are just trying to make rabbit holes out of nothing. Make it make sense.
Let me ask
unless you guys are gonna create some supporters group that's gonna funnel up the money to get Bowley out of there, you're just talking out of your emotional asses. Sorry to say, sorry to offend any of you.
No French.
He's gonna learn on the job because he's new to football, whether we like it or not. Yeah, he's not been in the game for as long as we want him to be. He's just got into football. So, and he is the owner of Chelsea with his group. Yeah. And that is something we cannot change. No matter how much you want to cry to kingdom come, that's not changing, yeah? And he is going to learn, because that's what you do in life. You learn from mistakes. As you all are here tweeting, I had doubts when he mentioned this, that, and the third. I'm sure you've made mistakes that you're learning from. So yeah, a billionaire will learn from his advisors will learn, and he will get it right. So this notion that I had doubts when, like, it's some manager that we're going to create some agenda and get him out, just wake up and smell the coffee that's brewing. It ain't happening. So get behind your club, which is Chelsea Football Club, not who's running Chelsea Football Club. Yeah, and then everything will fall into place. I just want to pull it out there before people start creating
that's a delicious comment right there. Get behind your club.
I don't understand. Like, are we gonna follow? Are we as a Chelsea supporters group? Yeah, gonna front up the billions and billions of pounds for us to get Bowley out and us take control? Are we gonna do that? We're not gonna do that. Hell, can we even pay bills? But what we're gonna do is support Chelsea. You know what I'm trying to say to you? So yes, we get behind the club. We hope that any decision the club makes is in good mind, in good faith, and we get behind it so we can reap the rewards. Not sit here and say I had doubts when So what if you mention All-Star game? He's right now. He's at Chelsea, top of the. He's in the top office at Chelsea right now while we're here. So what difference does he make if he's? I don't give a dash if he said that. What I need to see is what he put his intent, and I'm seeing it. He's outlining his mistakes. He's putting money in, and he's trying to get it done. It makes mistakes. It happens. And long as if you ain't got a better job, if you can't do a better job, then I'm sorry. I have to trust the guy that's up there right now.
Exactly.
Yes,
and
people keep dropping the likes on the stream, and also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And for some reason, I don't want to stay here. I think after this month, I'm going to shut down the membership thing. I let them know when I'm going to start it again, and I'm still capable of personally still doing something, and the channel can actually help get something enough to still sponsor students monthly without the membership thing. For personal reasons, for something I'm not going to say here, I will shut that down after this month. I'm sorry. Maybe I'll start it again, but I'm not sure when. But yeah, thank you so much for all your support. I appreciate that. I had dogs. Again, I've read that one. And quickly, I'm going to bring in Roger. Bobby, looks like you want to say something. Let me just say hello to New Zion, my bro here. I
just wanted to say.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to say, we're always talking about things take time, that we're too quick to pull the trigger and so on. I think that also goes with an ownership. It's not easy owning a club. We've all expressed frustration. Sometimes we've been irrational in our hurt, especially when we lose games. But we should be able to sit back and reflect and understand that whether we like it or not, there's a process going on.
And sometimes be objective.
Yeah, exactly. There's a process going on here, and we have to allow it to play itself out and have a bit of faith. I don't like the idea that we're going to have to lose a game in order to win a game tomorrow, this weekend. If you know what I mean by that. For the first time ever, I'm looking
I would like to
lose the game.
Yeah, let him drop. I saw you're in. I know you want to speak. Let him drop.
I was just saying, for the first time ever in my life, I actually want Chelsea to lose a game. I mean, gosh, that's unprecedented for me. But it's the end. It's the means that justifies the end. If you know what I mean. So I think we've got to.
Yeah, I agree with you. Just quickly, my bro, Zion, big up, bro. I hope you're doing well. I've been good, brother. Just a busy period for me. I am in classes, but hoping to show my brother some love, support. Much love to everyone. And bro, concentrate on your education. There's nothing that measures that. It's very important. And quickly, Roger, you wound the panel before JC joined. You want to speak, or do you want to allow him go? It looks like he's in a hurry to speak.
Yeah, JC, if you're in a hurry, go for it.
Yeah, I need to go, but I just want to reply to IBZ. Yeah, he made some points about that. Listen, Bowley threw money. It doesn't mean he is entitled to be supported. I have been on record on various forums during last summer window when he was throwing money that this is scattergun thought. And I was told on forums, you are being negative and this nickname isn't sticking. And I told everybody, Bowley is working hard that it sticks. And it has happened exactly. Now, people see different things. Some might see, some might not see this. But I had a feeling this was going in the wrong directions, and I never supported it. to make my point even further, Coach, you remember very well during the January when we were buying player after player after player, and I said to you, every time we
When
are losing
I was buying,
no, Boli was buying.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, but go ahead.
I remember I told to you, Coach, and you had a good laugh about it, that every time Chelsea loses a game, Boli goes out and buys a player as if he's trying to please us. And this is all rubbish he's doing. And you had a good laugh about this. And this is on record in these forums, and you can go and have the screenshot, or you can have a screen replay of the previous streams you want. So I would like to say is being very fair enough. Yes, some people here say he invested lots of money. No, I don't see it that way. Just throwing around money is not smart. Investing
Regardless.
wisely,
Let him drop IBC.
investing wisely is a good thing to do. Just throwing around money, not thinking what you are doing, is very stupid thing to do.
So where have they gone wrong? Where would you say they've gone wrong in your opinion?
Let me just reply to
Well,
it.
IBC, just quickly, IBC, 1 second.
Yeah, okay, very precisely from the very beginning. Whenever there is a merger or a takeover of any big corporation, you don't go around dismantling everything. There's a change management process, and you go step by step, and you be careful about it. You just don't just dismantle everything, and they dismantle everything.
So you don't think yeah, go ahead, let me let you drop.
It was like a baby who was given a Rubik's Cube. He opened it up, and then when everything was on the table, now he has to collect it again. And he's starting to think, okay, I will make it better. But did he have any experience in football, managing football clubs? No, he didn't have. And it was fairly easy to understand. It was fairly easy to
let him drop.
understand.
You can come in.
It was fairly easy to understand. What he's doing is like he's doing it for the first time, and he's taking very drastic steps. And it might go south, and most likely it will go south. Okay, in the long run, after 5 years, we might come back, but at the moment, we have to suffer.
So
okay, the question I want to ask you. Okay, IBC, go ahead with your response.
All right, cool. We know that is his first time. Is that his fault? Is that his fault that he is new to football? Is that his fault that he's not?
No. Let me clarify.
Cool.
No, it's not his fault that he's new to football.
Cool.
It's his fault that if you do not know anything, then don't start dismantling it.
Yeah, we understood that in the summer when he took out key personnel that were going to be in charge of transfers, bringing in and out. We highlighted this. This was a big mistake, and he took on the role of the sporting director, whatever, what have you, in which
and we moved on from it.
In which broke down his relations between him and our boss at the time being Thomas Tuchel, and we all know how that played. He made a mistake. He made mistakes. He's new to football. I was very vocal about it.
Well, this is why I love this channel. The understanding that we can all disagree to learn something from it. Just go ahead, IBZ.
Let me just quickly clarify. I'm sorry, I will have to go because I have to go for some job. He did not make a mistake. He made mistake after mistake.
That was his. The way I'm highlighting you the timeline.
Yeah, he's highlighting them. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
He made a mistake. So as you do, he made a mistake, and after that, he sacked the gaffer, in which obviously had a big impact on the fans. It divided the fans till this day. Probably you could argue, in which obviously he has just come out and he's made another mistake. So could you understand that he's quite inexperienced to this? Now, to tackle your what you mentioned on the January transfers, yes, we all know he spent money a bit. He could have spent it a bit more wisely. But could you understand that our squad at the time before the January transfers needed more of an injection? He listened to the fans. No. I cannot. I will not. I was not. I'm not gonna.
Let me finish the response. Jesse.
I was not for it, but no Chelsea fan can sit here and say that this guy did not have his ears to the fans when he was going around spending money in January. His ears were to the fans. Unfortunately, he played to the gallery. He played to the fans' hands, in which he had to give in to the demands of getting quality players to help Graham Potter, because Potter hasn't got the signings that he needs to take it forward. That didn't go well. So as that didn't go well, we go back to square one. We blame the owner. Had it been that £600 million worth of signings had made sense, A, we'll still have Potter, and B, it will be, oh my God, This guy is Roman 2.0. This guy is what we wanted all this time. So it's only because the results haven't plastered profusely on the pitch as to why you can blame the owner, which is fine, because obviously you spent 600 million in January aimlessly. But again, I have to understand this guy is still in charge. He's going to have to learn on the job, and he will learn, and he will get it right.
Okay,
Now,
I really need to come back because we are now repeating and going again.
No, I know, but projecting that is going to get worse from here.
Your starting assumption was that our squad was already gone when he came. No, you are wrong in that. We had a good squad, we had a good academy, and we didn't need 600 million.
So why did he sign Sterling? Why did he sign Koulibaly? Why did he sign all these guys? Kukureya? Why did he sign Chukwuemeka?
I will explain you. Okay, you gave a question. He signed out of the 4 players you mentioned, 2 are defenders. We had 2 defenders who had gone, so definitely we need defenders. That is changing and supplementing your team. That was understandable. We needed a striker, but we had a problem with Lukaku, so they tried to quick fix it with Aubameyang. But we also had academy strikers coming in, and we are just coming out.
Do you think out of their own, they just decided to go for Aubameyang? But don't you think that it was Tuchel that suggested Aubameyang?
It was Tuchel signing. And it was
so when you still calling them as if they were the ones that you still speak as if they were the ones that decided Aubameyang is a solution. Let's go.
When he purchased this guy, brought in this guy from Juventus, Tuchel didn't even know his name. Who is he? It's on record.
Let me ask you this, Jesse. I get it. I'm not saying they're perfect. And believe me, I can start naming all the mistakes they've made. But the thing is, I think some of us are dwelling on it too much that it's concerning, really. Whether it's for the person's own health, it's concerning. For me, I get it. They made a mistake by firing Tuchel, made a mistake by letting some people go in the check. And no matter how they see it, I think they were fired. No matter how anybody sees it, I'm coming. There are other mistakes. Hiring Graham Potter was a mistake. Letting him stay as long as he stayed was a mistake. To me, even bringing in Frank Lampard as a caretaker manager was a mistake, but I don't dwell on it. I don't go on every time, keep saying things are not going to be well for this club. The club is done.
I agree.
That's me. I have friends. I have brothers who feel like the club is done. The beautiful game was so close you think we're brothers, but we think opposite. Like how he feels about it and how I feel. My point is, let's just move on. But go ahead with what you're saying.
Let's move on. Everybody has his own opinions. I'm not saying that we need to dwell on it for long or something like that. I just came in to say, when somebody is telling me and targeting me with the statement like, hey, then when the money is being thrown around, you are the happiest guy. I just came in to say, no, I was not like that.
That's fine. That's part of the show. You came in to
might not be like that.
Here's the thing, and he wasn't being personal. IBC wasn't being personal. You had a comment. Hold on. Let's talk one by one, please. Let's talk one by one. You had a comment in the chat, and he read it, and he responded to it, and he wasn't personal. You can go back and listen to it. It wasn't a personal attack. He was referencing the whole fans, saying we shouldn't be doing this, we shouldn't be doing this. When the owners do this, it's his opinion. And you have your own opinion in the chat, and he was responding to it. And that's why we have a show. Go ahead,
they put a picture
so that we
of
can
Bowley.
move on to another person.
They put a picture of Bowley and they put a picture of Roman Abramovich.
No, let him speak. Go ahead, speak. Let's move on. Speak, Jesse. We're waiting. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. I just want to thank everybody. It's nothing personal. Let's move on and let's hope that the next season will be better. I mean, people should learn from mistakes, and I hope we will be wiser next year. That's it.
And believe me, I'm so happy you joined the panel. It makes the show. That's how we learn from each other. You have a point, IBC have a point. And then we'll come to a sensible conclusion. That's why we have a show.
Right, brother.
And I know you're a smart guy. I know you understand football very well. We're all frustrated. And like Bobby said, that is especially true if we lose games. Whenever we lose games, you don't want to host the show because people will be throwing punches at each other. But I get it. Much love to you. Hopefully you will have time to be on the panel because I like how you argue, how you debate. If that's the language you prefer, I like it so much. But I know you're a very busy man. Much love to you, brother. And like I said, once more, I'm going to say this once more. As soon as possible, I'm going to shut down the membership thing. I think we can do without it. There are other ways the channel can be bringing in something. And I wouldn't mind actually giving away everything that the channel brings in monthly to support students. Yeah, but I'm going to shut up. I think the membership thing is creating a problem that I don't want to speak about right now. And I've experienced a lot of stuff that showed it's creating a problem rather than helping the channel as I thought we would. I will bring it back in a way that would be good for everybody involved. But that's, by the way, Roger, you can come in and start where you want to start from. And before Roger starts speaking, please, if you're in the chat, keep dropping the likes on the stream, and also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. The likes do go a long way. Thank you so much for always being a part of this great community. We continue growing, more importantly. Thank you so much. Go ahead, Roger.
Hey, good afternoon, gentlemen.
Big up to you, brother.
A spirited debate indeed.
That's what it is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is good. I just want to say, Coach, I don't think that. I think you may be incorrect about something. I think when you talked about Bowley apologising, potentially about Tuchel, I think he was apologising about not hiring me as the backup tea lady. I think we need to get that first and foremost.
Just go ahead. And hola, gracias, first of all.
Too soon, Coach? Too soon?
Just go ahead, bro. Thank you for bringing the ice in here.
Yeah, how is everyone? Okay? I couldn't resist.
No, it's a good debate, and that's why I love the Blue Morning Show, because everybody's opinion matters. Whenever anybody tries to cross the line, I think we're all mature enough to find a way to bring it under control. And I appreciate JC joining voicing his opinion. I think it's always nice. Go ahead, Roger.
Listen, I just wanted to say some things about. First of all, this sounds really cruel, but I'm really happy Arsenal lost. As a Chelsea fan, it warms my heart.
How was that cruel?
No, I'm just saying for any Arsenal fans.
So listening. Happy today.
Yeah, ditto. Likewise, sir. The other thing is, the good and bad news is we are Man City's last home game of the season for the Premier League, which means they're going to go all out and try to cremate us that day. So, however, also I don't want Arsenal to actually lose during the week, because that means we have to give a guard of honor. I don't wish for us to see us do that, if that makes sense. Listen, I think mathematically Arsenal are still in it, of course, but the likelihood is 99.9% it's done. You know, listen, even if we beat them, they're still going, because of the small amount of games remaining, it's, for all intents and purposes, it's season over. However, I would like for us to at least equip ourselves where we at least draw. That would be really pleasing. Is that likely to transpire? Probably not. But that's what I wanted to say on that. As regarding the owners, if I may, yes, they have made mistakes. With regards to, for instance, Maria Granovskaya leaving, I've seen sources have said that she resigned, and I've seen sources have equated it to she was given no choice to, because of her affiliation due to the geopolitical aspect of Ukraine, for obvious reasons. So her tenure was not attainable. She couldn't stay for obvious reasons. So, and that's understandable. So you can't put that on the owners. You know, have they made mistakes? Yes, they have. Obviously, all joking aside, yes, they have. And you're right, Coach. It's quite heartening to hear that they're humble enough to eat that crow pie, to apologise,
because they don't have to.
No, they don't. You know, and people of that ilk, they cut from a different cloth. You know, they walk on a different plane. That's why they're so successful. They're very alpha orientated. So I'm pleased to hear them apologise, but listen, from January onwards, you can honestly say that virtually all of the decisions going forward have been from the quote-unquote directors of football. Mm-hmm. So you can't put everything on Bowley and the corporation. You just can't. It's that simple. Because you have the likes of Win Stanley, etc., making these decisions. Bowley has been in the background. Listen, with regards to the imminent arrival of Pochettino, I saw a really good video about him from another channel, and they broke it down about what Pochettino has done traditionally. And he starts off with, "You'll be pleased to know, coach." He usually does a hybrid of 4-2-3-1, and it morphs into a 3-4-3. When we have possession, and so that's good and bad in a way. I'm a bit concerned about our outgoings. I think our number one thing we need to address is, well, sorry to say this word, but Lukaku is the big elephant, right, in the room. So
dinosaur.
What happens to him? That woolly mammoth, right? This is, I think, very key. I think what I really like is, even though he has ties to Spurs, he seems like the correct person to take our club going forward. Take that with a pinch of salt, because I thought the same of Potter also. So, yeah, I digress. So,
sorry to
not at all. Go for it.
I just want to address the issue with an 11th place. I have an issue with hiring a Spurs coach.
He has every right to have an issue with it. It's his right. He's a fan.
No, 100%. Yeah, 100%. You do.
It leaves a bad taste in one's mouth. But look, listen, I like him as a coach.
Let's keep it real.
Nobody's happy with it.
Let's keep it real. Yeah. What have we done in the league since 2016-17? What have we done? What have we really done? So what gift is it to us to say we want this guy that's gonna win us the league or challenge for it if we ain't done it for goddamn how long? We only painted over the cracks. I know people are gonna kill me for it, but yeah, we deservedly won the Champions League. But that masked over the real problem that we ain't challenged for God knows how long. We ain't been a Liverpool, Man City for God knows how long. We ain't even done it this year. Arsenal did it this year. So for us, who do we choose? Who do you think is going to be the right person to take us forward? It has to be someone. And if they've looked around and who's available, I believe, like you just said, Robert, Roger, Pochettino probably sees the perfect fit for us at this point, bro. The person that will probably fit in our formation, style of play, get the best out of youth, and take it from there. Using the trope, he hasn't won anything at Spurs.
And it's a good thing we're not hearing that he's going to put pen to paper for a 10-year contract. But just
it's only 3 years. It's only 3 years, supposedly. So he'll be out your hair in 3 years if you don't like him.
So if it doesn't work, we move on.
It doesn't. The tenure of the contract doesn't mean anything. It just doesn't. It's been proven time and time again. Otherwise, these managers that sign long-term
let's try and place. If we really do have the best interests of our club, let's try and think about. It's easy to get on the negatives because I know negative sells. Bad is better than good. In this internet age and online age, bad story sells better. As opposed to looking at negatives, let's try and see positives.
Oh, there's huge positives. And can I just say, these are huge positives.
I want to ask Bobby Fairview, do you not see 1% of positive in Mauricio Pochettino?
Oh, I do.
Apart from the fact that he managed.
Bro, see a lot. A lot of people don't. A lot of people are not able to look beyond the fact. Here's the thing. The biggest problem people have is the fact that he was once a Tottenham manager.
But
unfortunately, that clouds their judgment. They don't look beyond that. Unfortunately, go ahead, Bob. You wanted to say something? I'll bring it. I really want to catch up on what we have in the chat, so we start looking at the topics we have lined up. Go ahead, Bobby.
I just wanted to add to this quickly because he actually addressed it to me, and I get it. I know all Chelsea fans are not happy with 11th place, considering the club we are. And Chelsea fans are a little bit skeptical about Mauricio.
I'm celebrating
it. Spurs background. However, just as IBZ has said, there is an objectivity to all these things. One, what are they doing about it going forward in terms of the 11th place? And I think they've started that process now. Two, we have to give this Pochettino situation its run. it's opportunity, it's chance. And as Chelsea fans, we can't keep wallowing in negativity. It's like, you have a kid that failed an exam and they're getting all depressed about it and down in the dumps. And listen, you live to fight another day. You can't live like that in sport, in anything in life. You've got to move on, head up, pick yourself up, dust yourself down, and go again. And this is what we're doing at Chelsea. It hurts, yes. We're not, none of us are happy, but we have to see the positives. We have to build on the positives, just like the owners, I believe, are trying to do. If they were coming and deliberately trying to destroy the club, they wouldn't spend any money, trust me. But they're doing their best. They're trying to learn on the job, and we have to ride with them and not just throw them under the bus because we're not immediately getting our way.
Because you
Yeah,
know what? Just to add to that, Bobby, let's to keep it 1000%. Results change mindset. If this man Pochettino comes in, wins his first 3 games, clean sheet, yeah, the narrative will bloody change. I could put my house on it. The narrative will change. Yeah,
we don't need Einstein to help us figure that out.
You know what I mean?
Well, the good news is, though, gentlemen, is that if you look at his MO, when he took over from Spurs the first season, he was tied with the number 1 defense in the Premier League. The following season, he had the outright number 1 defense in the Premier League. So, from a goalkeeper's perspective, I welcome that.
All right, thank you so much. The chairman of the goalkeeping union has spoken. I will bring in. Sorry.
I'm saying even if his brother Kepa's gonna go.
Oh yeah, he's the chairman of the goalkeeping union and they're lawyer at the same time. Declan, a big up to you. You should be sleeping, but I'm sure you heard something you want to support. And just to make something clear,
you guys wake me up.
All of us here are not saying you have no right to. Anybody doesn't have a right to critique Volley and Co. I'm just advising we'll move on. Complaining doesn't change anything for those in the chat. Whatever you want to say about the owners, don't make it personal. And if you want to challenge anybody's comments with regards to the owners, just challenge it and not going to call in names or insulting the person with your comments. Go ahead, Declan. Big up to you, brother. It's been a minute. You go ahead, start where you want to start from so we can move on and get all the items we'll have lined up to discuss.
I'm a bit busy as well, but you guys really, the apology that the owners get, it really gets to me. I'll give you that much. I respect all you guys and love you guys, but I don't understand the apology. I mean, you have to understand, in a season where it's one of the worst finishes, and we broke the transfer record. Right? And we finished in one of our worst positions. And you say 11th, but it's, it could be 12th, could be something else, it could be a bit lower than 11th.
Yeah, by the time the season ends.
And everyone's just cash. They make mistakes. I think everyone forgot that Boli and the consortium didn't save us. They were picked amongst a whole bunch of bidders, right? As they were the best group with the best plan, with the group that knew what he was doing. Everyone said he's run sporting clubs before. Everyone knows what's going. He knows what's going on. He's got this and he's got that. He knows. He's proposed a plan. He's proposed a plan that's convinced, right, for him to be the winner, right, over every other group that supposedly had a plan. And you also got to remember that the 4 billion that was split up was also in agreement to be invested in different groups, the stadium into the team. So that 600 million is still part of that agreement. So yeah, he hasn't spent his money, right? And he hasn't spent his own money because he's a minor investor in this group. Now, if he stayed an investor, I wouldn't have so much of a problem. But when he decided to, whether Roger thinks Marina walked away or not, but after he sacked everyone else at the club, even the team
you really have to mention Roger.
Roger reminded me about the sacking, right?
Go ahead.
Because
you're welcome.
At that time, at that time, Bowley could have said, you know what, I don't know what's going on. We lost. I thought Marina was going to stay. I sacked her, or she wanted to walk away, whatever the reason is. Let me get a consultant in for 6 months till I find the proper technical director, right? No. You know what he did? You know what this guy that you gave apology for, and you gave him an excuse because you said he's new to the business? He made himself technical director. The guy that you guys said, you can't blame Bowley, right? If it was Ibiza that said that, you can't blame Bowley because he's new to the business. This new guy gave himself the title technical director. I didn't believe it, but you know when I believed it? When there was a Chelsea announcement on the website, right, that he was stepping down as technical director. That was Chelsea official news, right? If you don't, he made himself technical director. He resigned as a technical director, right? If my issue is Bowley as an investor, he can stay as an investor. And I'm saying to sell the club, and he's a minor investor in that. Bowley has to step back. For me, I've seen owners for other clubs set back clubs 5 a decade, right?
Declared.
They've set him
Bowley has
back.
stepped back. That's the purpose
He hasn't
of
stepped
the
back.
directorship.
He still makes the decisions. He's still
How do you know, Declan?
He's still.
Pardon me, but how do you know he still makes the decisions?
He's at the club. He's still the face of the consortium, right?
He's the chairman, but the people making
yes,
the decisions
right,
for
Bobby.
the running of the club
Sorry, Bobby.
are
I called you
Bilbao,
Bowley.
Winston Lee, and Stewart. That's clear.
My apologies.
Bobby, he called you Bobby.
All right, Bobby, you made it clear. He has to step down as chairman. He has to go back to the other side,
We're
back to
mixing
America.
words here. He's not running the club at the moment.
He's
They have
a
oversight.
chairman.
He and Iqbali have oversight, but
Yeah.
they put the directorship in charge.
Go ahead,
Does he make any
Declan. Go ahead,
decisions?
we'll let you drop.
Yeah, because look, he's made a number of decisions, and he's still going to make a number of decisions, right? Those people that he brought in, they weren't brought in because they're experts of running a club. They were experts in constructing a team and a system, right, of young talent and selling for more. We didn't hire technical directors from clubs that are title-winning clubs, you know, that bring in talent, world-class players for winning titles. We bought them from clubs that resell players. That's we every recruiter, scout, technical director are all specialized in finding talent and selling it for more. And for me, this team, this structure that he's built, I look at it and I go, he didn't build a structure to win titles. He built a structure to sell players, to buy and sell players in an industry. And that's all he wants to do. He wants to buy other clubs so he can do this more. If you guys think, he's got people that know what's going on. Yeah, they know what's going on when it comes to buying and selling. That's really what he's done. Look, none of us in the boardroom. I'm connecting dots. I'm looking at his actions. I'm looking at Bowley's actions and what he's done.
Yeah.
And the only decision he hasn't made is hiring Potter and hiring Lampard and sacking Tuchel. That's not the only decisions he's made. Even I'll bring one up. You guys were talking about the hiring of Sterling, right? The transfer of Sterling, Koulibaly, Fofana, Cucurella. What you didn't know, never taken into account, those 4 players were our highest earners at the club, besides Lukaku, Kante.
Who's slipping?
They broke the transfer they broke the wage structure as well. Bowley did
What's
that.
that got to do with the price of cheese, though? Declared,
There wasn't
though.
a wage
He's
structure
still
there.
the
There
owner.
wasn't a wage
He's still
structure.
gonna get it right. He's still gonna learn. He's still
The
gonna
price
get
of cheese is high. That's what it is, Ibiza.
What-
What I'm
how-
saying is
how
that every
high-
decision he's made has
If he got-
repercussions,
but
and he's done it
repercussions,
10 million
let's
times.
say-
Why did he sack everyone at the
let's
club?
Let's just.
I
is
need
that
to let
the
him drop
team?
because I really want us to move on from that topic. I want to ask Declan the question once he's dropped. Declan, if you can, drop with regards
what
to the
I'm saying-
mistakes you believe they've made. Yeah.
I'll just sum it up. If he made so many mistakes, in a season like this where we broke the transfer record, right? And we finished 11th, 12th, whatever, right? Shouldn't heads roll? In any other industry, heads would roll, right? But we say, right? Oh well, he's new to the business and make a mistake.
This is not
I'll tell
any
you
other
what.
industry declared. His heads
I'll
are
tell you
not
what.
gonna roll. Huh?
He
What are you
while he's
saying?
learning,
Let him
while
drop
he's
IBZ.
learning, right?
beg.
IBZ. While he's learning on the job, if we didn't win a title, or if we barely won a trophy, just like some of some of the rivals we've seen, right? Because they've gone through owner mistakes as well and set them back decades.
Oh, first owner in the Premier League. You finish 11th, knocked out of Europe. You spent a lot of money. You know what? Change of ownership right now. You're not good for the job.
Did I say change ownership?
No, that's not the
Anyway,
class point. Let's let him drop
everyone's
IBZ.
alluding to.
IBZ, let's let him drop. That's not his
Did I
point.
say change ownership?
That's not his point.
You
He
alluding
had to
to.
step back. He had to step back
Declan, go ahead. Declan, go ahead.
from the decision making and become an investor. Just stay as the investor, not the face.
And you think he hasn't done that? You still believe he hasn't done that, even though we heard that he stepped down.
So are you saying that old man Wise and that the biggest investor in our consortium is making decisions as well? The 84-year-old?
How do you know that?
I'm not too sure how the process. I'm not sure how the process works. But we've hired people who we know their responsibilities, which means it leaves no room for him to be, the decision maker in terms of final decision maker in terms of signings and all that. I think we put people in place to take care of that. But go ahead with what you were saying.
He is the face, right, of the consortium, and he made himself technical director. And Bobby put it, he is the chairman. We don't even have a chairman. We need a CEO chairman, someone that sits above everyone, right, and takes care of all that. Someone that oversees it.
Hey,
let me ask you this, Declan. I really want us to move on from this because we have some items lined up to talk about. They've made mistakes, and we all can agree. I think there's hardly anybody on this panel that you will ask to name at least 3 mistakes they believe the owners have made. That wouldn't come up with 6. They've made, I get it. They've made lots of mistakes, but we deal with situations differently. As for me, I always like to look beyond their mistakes, and especially now they've openly admitted that they've made mistakes. So I believe they're learning. And here's the thing: what I want to ask you: do you think things will change, or do you think that we'll have to change ownership for things to change? Do you believe the club is done and dusted, like most people are saying, because Paulie and Co. they own the club? I don't know how it's to put that question to come across to you the way you understand it. Do you think things will become better?
No, I'm more worried. It's not a. What I'm saying is that what they set out to achieve is still on course.
Yeah, we're in the first year.
What is that? Let him. You gotta let him drop. You gotta let him express. You gotta let him drop IBC.
I'm
IBC gotta let him drop.
I'm worried what they're trying to achieve.
Declan?
Well, look, before everything, right, just like everyone else, I liked the technical director was coming in, the one, that a manager's going to get more time. We're getting young players. Everything sounded all right, but then the way he's come in and been way too involved, and every decision has been a mistake, right? And he's been talking a lot, which I didn't like. But when he talks, which he talked recently, he said, we got a long-term plan, we got a long-term plan, we got a long-term plan. Nothing he ever said about winning titles. He said, I want to win. I would like to be, the apology I'd like, which we'll probably owed, is maybe telling us what the long-term plan looks like, right? Because I'm trying to work out, well, look, he was short-sighted because he was achieving a goal that he showed the consortium to convince him to get a lot of money. The goal, the long-term plan that he actually showed the Reigns group to win over everyone else. The long-term plan is what looked good to everyone and the reason why they're here today. But because of this long-term plan, they're so short-sighted, he made so many mistakes. He didn't know how to deal with this. But this long-term plan is apparently the goal, regardless of what happens. Now, I want to know what this long-term plan is, because if it is how I suggested it before, that everyone they've hired is a specialty in specializes in getting younger talent, finding that young gem and selling him for more, right? Or becoming good talent. If that's what they want to see the club as us getting a whole bunch of young kids and making them into good players, because the only reason I saw Potter get recruited is because that's what he did well in. He got offered a lot, as if he was integral to Bowley's long-term plan.
Have we not moved on from
Vivel,
Potter?
sorry, Bobby?
We've moved on from Potter now. You know, that mistake was done. We've moved on.
Sorry, I'm building a story here.
A
Okay.
case.
Go ahead,
It's just
Declan. I want to
decision.
ask you on one
Yeah,
question with
I'm
regards
sorry,
to Pochettino,
I don't
so
want
that we
I
can
don't
move
want it
on.
to sound messy, so I just kind of building how
Yeah, go ahead. You're good.
the process. Yeah, I know we've moved on, but what I'm saying is I'm talking about
You're
the
trying to make a
decisions made from
point, and
Bowley.
I'm just following you.
Yeah, the decisions that made from Bowley. I'm trying to put the puzzle together for this long-term plan, because he won't tell us. Now, Coach, if the long-term plan is to become a club that buys players, sells players, like Red Bull, and we get close to winning some cups, but we've got a young team and it's not fully there, because this is how we're going to sustain, the club. It's going to sustain itself through this method. If this is if Bowley saw himself doing a better version of what Red Bull do, and this is how he said it, and look how much money we can make and whatnot, I'm not happy with that. If it's, on the other hand, if it's a method for us to get around FFP and have a bigger wage structure, have more money to spend, and spending 600 mil is something casual that we do, and we spend like we did with Roman, but in the cost of doing buying and selling players on top of marketing, right? If this is the big plan and we're gonna outspend everyone, right, through this method, then it's a great one, right? But I'm trying to see which one he's going to. Either we're going to be an average club of buying and selling, or
So
we're gonna use that
from-
method to outspend everyone.
Yeah.
Does that
Your
make sense
biggest
now? So
concern is that
I'm trying to work out.
you don't have clarity as with regard to where we're headed to.
And he's never going to get that. Nobody is
And
going to
and
be
it's
stupid
difficult to
enough.
say that. So, and you're entitled to feel the way you feel entitled.
Yeah,
But
no one's
nobody's
giving me
going
the answer,
to be
so I can
stupid enough
connect. I
to
can
lay
make
out-
the story for myself. I can get the answer from
Okay,
each's actions.
Bobby,
yeah?
what were you saying?
No business is foolish enough to lay out the nuts and bolts of their direction in detail. Why?
No, I don't
Because
want it in
things
detail.
can change.
I think
Let
you
him
do.
just
I
take the
think you
question.
do
I can
declare.
ask you the question I want to ask you so that we can move on. Go ahead,
You want the
Bobby.
minutes as well.
Things can change, and they are giving a broad spectrum with the idea of being flexible enough to make a change. They started off with Potter. Hopefully, they'll end up with Pochettino. This is football. It's not always black and white like that in terms of building a successful team. I think we need to be a little bit patient. I understand where you're coming from, Declared. I know you talk a lot of sense most of the time. You really do. But in this case,
Yeah, and other
I
times
think
it was absolute BS, right?
no.
Yeah.
Now you're saying that. I wouldn't. I'm not. I'm not saying that. You see how you
Coach,
get people in trouble?
they usually
What are you
BS the coach, but then later on it comes out as true, and
What are you saying?
it's a Notre Dame moment for you.
Declared, I
Bobby.
didn't say that, bro. I didn't say that at all, and I wouldn't say that. Well, what I'm saying is that I think, and this is just an opinion because you've quite clearly stated how you feel, and you have the right to do that. Of course, you do. But I think generally a lot of the fan base that feel like you do are being a little bit in their feelings because of where we are at the moment, and two, they're being impatient and expecting things to just happen overnight, whereas it's not going to be like that with anybody. You know, the era of Roman has gone. The terrain that which Roman operated in has changed dramatically. It's not the same landscape to ply your trade. And so we are in the process of a whole new ball game, really. We're walking a path that hasn't been tread before. And I think what we need to do is have faith a little bit in the intelligence of these guys. And, you know, the egg hasn't really broken yet. We need
Just
to
give them a
see what
chance.
happens. Exactly. In my opinion, go ahead with how you feel.
Sorry, disclaimer. In my opinion, we need to give him a chance.
It is a
my
disclaimer
excuses-
because it causes havoc when you say things and people think, oh, you're trying to make it a law. No, it's all how we
opinion.
feel.
Everything here was saying opinions, all of them. It's something we deal with facts. We should present it so people can see. Go ahead, Bobby. Sorry for cutting you off, so that I can ask the question with regards to
No, I'm done. I know
punishment. So we'll move on.
Yeah, I just want to quickly add, Bobby.
I
got patience. It's not an anxiety thing. I'll probably quickly add. I have an interest in other clubs, right? Not as a fan of. Since a young age, I read. I didn't like reading about fantasy, this, that, and I had to I had to read something, and I turned to football. I read football books, then I started reading biographies, and I didn't read any other books. Later on I did, but I took a fascination in how clubs come about, coaches' lives, and whatnot. And if a club does well, right, I take an interest and I start wondering how they got there, right?
What did you write?
I have seen, so a lot of times, and in the reverse of that, I've seen how clubs have had downfalls. How did a great club, get relegated, for instance, yeah? And instead of just saying that's a pity, no, I like to go back and see the actions.
Learn from the situation.
Yeah, so I've seen actions from owners and managers and specialists that made great clubs, and then I've seen them set back a club, and when we're in this moment, which we haven't been with, we've been with Roman for so long now. Everyone had a say with who was coming in, and then our direction and owner was open. Where is Chelsea going to be, and which way we're going to go? And we're at a ticket, so I was very judgmental on everything that Bowley did. So I want to know which direction we're going in, right? And obviously we're not going to get an answer. Bowley, instead of saying we're going to win 3-0 against Real Madrid, Bowley could have said, I want to win the title in the next so-and-so years. He could say that. Some owners have done that before, right? We're going to try challenge for the title. We want to be up there. Bowley never said anything about achieving anything.
Yeah.
Just a long-term plan.
Let's move on. Let me ask you this, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I understand. I understand where
we don't have too much time.
I do understand.
Yeah, like I said, it's not based on the season. I'm busy.
No, I know. He does shoot himself in the foot when he comes out and he comes out and speaks. Like, bro, you're a whole billionaire. You should not even be speaking, bro. I get you. I get you.
I think we all agree with that. The last one I saw that shocked me was using the term "we'll figure it out," which most people don't. It's an American.
It's when he said we'll win against. When he said 3-0, that's when I said,
when I heard that.
This is our gaffer. This is our owner. When he said we're going to win 3-0.
Gentlemen, can I just say something, if I may, with regards to the ownership? Listen, Deco, you made some valid points, as Bobby said, but for all intents and purposes, I hope I did. I talk for a lot. no, but seriously, all joking aside.
No, you spoke for 10 seconds.
but realistically,
the is killing me. Yeah.
but
Go ahead, brother. Sorry.
Gentlemen, since Bowley resigned officially from the whatever position he resigned from, what was it? The football director's position, whatever it was.
They gave himself a promotion.
Yeah. Hold on 1 second. However, since then, he has not been responsible because he's hired Lawrence Stewart, Paul Winstanley, Christopher Vivell. You have
Paul Winstanley or Morgan Stanley?
Yeah, no kidding. Matthew Hallam, you have talent management recruiters, Joe Shields, Kyle McCauley, Jim Frazier. You have these people in place, and so their decision to terminate Potter, for instance, or to, how shall I put this, or to make acquisitions of people like Fofana, Badiashile, Santos, Felix, Mudryk, Madueke, Gusto, Fernandez were made under their tenure, not under Bowley. They made £322.6 million worth of acquisitions in the January window, and the Todd Bowley made 280.7 with 10 players. in the initial summer window. So anything going forward from January onwards was not under Bowley. Now, for them, technically, for Potter to be relinquished of his duties and to hire Pochettino, it's done with the executives, not with the CEO or so forth. They are the one. They are hired. They meaning the football directors, for lack of generic job titles. They are the ones that are responsible for hiring, firing, and player acquisitions, and obviously player departures. That is what they are hired for. It's that simple. So anything from January going forward, you cannot blame per se, that it is on Bowley or Ed Barley or whomever. Now, if they do actually override these executives, then and say let's say they didn't want to hire Poch and Ed Barley or Bowley say I want Poch, then they need to resign and walk away because their position is being undermined.
Exactly.
Obviously. And so therefore, going forward, listen, you have valid criticisms and they have made mistakes. However, going forward from January of this year, any acclaim or any criticism should fall on the actual executives themselves, the football directors, I mean, themselves, and no one else. That's my point that I wish to make.
Yeah, you make a good point. Whenever any of us you're done speaking, add the disclaimer there. Declan, let me ask you this quickly. I really do want us to move on from that topic. We don't have too much time left.
After you, I got a question for everyone else.
Yeah, what I want to ask you quickly, Declan, what do you make of the imminent appointment of Mauricio Pochettino?
Sorry, I missed the last of your question.
What do you mean? What do you make of the appointment? Let me just say that I think it's practically done. The appointment of Mauricio Pochettino as the new Chelsea manager. Do you have issues with the fact that he's coached at Tottenham before? You don't have a problem with that?
No. It's been a while too. If you remember when his name was kind of brought up in the list of Nagelsmann and Enrique conversations were happening. I said he ticked a lot of boxes for me if he took this. I mean, people are just judging with the, with the Spurs tag, and it's not like he's a massive legend. He didn't win anything. He overachieved with a younger team, and he's done well compared to every other bad manager they've recently. That's the only reason why. That's why, because Tottenham like him, right? If Mourinho came after him and done well, right, they probably would have forgotten about Pochettino. Because if a manager came after Pochettino done well, they would have said that, well, look what he did with this team, and Pochettino couldn't do. So it wouldn't be as big of a legend. And you know what? And that would have been brought up now as well in the conversation of putting him down. But besides that, just like the same reason Potter was hired, I think him with dealing with younger players is essential. We've spent that much, what was it? Roger read out the numbers, 320 plus more. Every day it's like we're buying young players. We need a manager that has shown that he can get the best out of young players because we invested so much. I think that's crucial before anything. He has a great game style for younger players as well. High intensity. I think when he was here in Tottenham, we're clocking some of the highest numbers in run on ground. We've got a deep squad as well to keep that style of play up as well. It's the same reason why I said Klopp would fit in Chelsea too. And yeah, I just think he can get the best out of some young players and get a play style and just get us playing well. That's the starter. Yeah. I don't expect a lot more. We're in a mess, and also on top of everything, it's because of the World Cup. It's a shorter preseason. That we've got internationals as well. He's not going to be given a big preseason. There's going to be players coming and going a lot as well. I think preseason has to continue in the start of the season. So I am giving him more than that. There's way more patience from me, and the Tottenham thing is out. I don't even think of that.
I don't
I want to
consider
see
that
what he does
myself.
with
Yeah, go
players
ahead.
and how he wants to play, and give him some time to establish that, and then judge him just like every other manager.
You know, sorry, my French declared. I thought I was gonna hate you twice. I'm with you on this subject. I'm really with you. The last
Now, I've always
subject I was your
non-declared.
enemy.
I think
This one I'm bloody with you.
he's
Man.
always looked at the Pochettino situation objectively, looking beyond the fact that he's coached Spurs. I
Bro,
myself the same. Yeah.
we had declared. I've been declared fan since last year, since the summer. We had declared a C on point. We probably few disagreements. This one's disagreement. So I was thinking, not today. I don't want to disagree with declare today. Not today.
I would have hated to let you down.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But yeah. I think you saved yourself with the Poch one because I do agree with that, man. Let's just get it in, man. Like,
And
even still, since he's left Spurs, they haven't improved. So like, it ain't that telling. Like, they've got Mourinho, they got Conte. What have they really done? Nothing really, innit?
Look, even I've calmed down about the Pochettino.
Yeah, even Bobby, blimey.
Yeah,
I had a running with
exactly.
Bobby.
You know, and if
that's
I
the
can
serious
cool
way
down,
to look at it.
I had a running with Bobby.
you know, then anybody can cool down. You know, I'll give him a chance. I really will.
We have no
You know,
choice
and I
because why
can't
we got to
stand
support the
Spurs.
Blues, bruv.
Believe me, if you come near me and even say the word Spurs, you get my back up. So that's saying a lot. So let's wait and see what this geezer's going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Declare quickly before you ask that question. I have quite a lot to do, but I'm going to skip quite a lot too. I want to say thank you to Jerry Z for this comment here and referencing the importance. Of course, this is a community and it's all love. We're all, our feelings. Again, we're in a very bad. We're in a very at a very should I say vulnerable place right now. We're concerned. We're all concerned one way or the other, and we see things from different lenses. Sometimes, we have to present our opinions, and others present a counter opinion, and we debate. And it's all love. We all care about Chelsea more importantly, and there's always something to learn. Except the only person I have learned anything from whenever he speaks is Declan and Roger. I do learn quite a lot from Bobby and IDZ, if that makes sense to anybody.
Yeah, 100%. I'm fully
Hey,
with you, mate.
hey.
Roger's our resident QC. What are you saying?
Damn.
Yeah,
Has
but
he
this
picked
guy,
anyone to
by the way,
represent
Declan,
now?
Declan, go ahead with the question.
Can
I
you
think
represent
we
me,
should-
Roger? I'm gonna need some representation here.
Go ahead, Roger. Bobby, Declan, drop the question quickly with a minute so that we can address the question
yeah.
and move on. I think we still have a bit of time to catch up with the
I was trying to
topics we
sneak
have
it in
lined
before
up.
while we're talking about the owners.
Yeah.
Do you feel that this season has changed the owners' long-term plan, or maybe what they thought their long-term plan was, or the direction? Sorry, but I'll put that wording. Has it changed their direction?
Should I start?
Altered it, of course. Of course, it's altered.
Yeah,
it.
go ahead, Bobby.
So
Yeah, you go, Bobby, go.
that's why they don't want to come out and rigidly commit themselves to a particular plan, because they appreciate that it can alter. And their plans have altered several times. Getting rid of Tuchel, they've said it was a mistake. Maybe they would have got rid of him down the line, but doing it the way they did, they see that. They see they're messed up. Some of the players they bought in the summer transfer window, which, mind, I have to say, was actually a lot was down to Tuchel because he rubber stamped it, but they've seen it's an error. You know, changing manager and going the course of Pochettino is a change in direction. They had Potter for 5 years, they've got Pochettino now for 3 years. So they're making alterations, and they're very, very careful to start talking about winning trophies, because it's one thing they know they want. That's why they're using the word successful. Of course, they want to win trophies. That's the bargaining tool to make money in football. But there's one thing coming out of a restaurant and saying, "Oh, we're going to beat Real Madrid 3-0, tongue in cheek," and there's another thing telling Chelsea fans, "You're going to win the Premier League in 3 years." They will never forgive you if you don't. So
Almost goes
I'm
hand in
with
hand,
on that
Bobby.
one. You know what we're like? Look how we are now with our 11th place and probably even worse finish. You know, we're practically tearing each other's hair out. You can imagine if Bowley said we will win the league by 2027, And if it doesn't happen, oh my God, there'll be civil
Oh,
war
but
at Stamford Bridge.
when I mentioned the Bob, it doesn't have to be
You could say,
as direct as that. He could say, "Yeah, I want to be challenging for the title." He'd be very vague.
no,
But I
yes,
would like
yes.
to
Then,
know.
yes, then I'd say sometimes in the business world, sometimes you're better off. How's that? What's that phrase? I think under promising
Moving
and
silence.
overachieving.
Let me just ask. Wait. What did you
And
want him
that
to
question
say
was
when he
for
first
all you
came?
guys too.
What did you want him
Yeah,
to
I know.
say?
So you go ahead. You shoot for the answer. Shoot for your
Yeah,
response
declare.
to for the
Just to
response.
highlight what you said there, like obviously, like even what you said, Coach. When a new businessman comes in, enthusiasm, all of those things play. He's not gonna say anything negative. He ain't gonna say, "Well, guys, we just picked you guys up from sanctions, and I'm not gonna lie, it's looking pretty bleak. So it's gonna be a tough ride." Can you imagine the discourse between ourselves if that was the narrative he put out? You know, he's gonna have to bring in these enthusiastic, you know, tropes to get us excited. And yes, to answer your question, the plans have altered drastically. I think obviously new stadium and all those things, those will probably still be in a line. But like in terms of like Bobby alluded to, the contract lengths of managers is now gone from 5 years to 3. You know, so you can see that there's probably a risk factor thinking this probably might not work out. Let's not put all our eggs in this basket type beat. You know, I think moving forward, it will go as it goes. Now there's no European football, so now they have to alter their plans completely. Now that budget is gone. That's like what 175 million gone. You know, and if we miss out on Europe next year, that's another madness on top of the money we spent. So, you know, that accounts are going to come in for what we spent in January. They're going to come out in May next year. And then we're going to, or March or whenever, we're going to look at how we are. So, yeah, you're 100% right with that question. Altered plans all the way, mate.
Yeah.
All the way.
Thank you so much for that. I think the plan most likely already have been altered. You could say their initial plan was to get a manager, give the manager 5 years plus, but they learned a valuable lesson from Potter's case, and now they were hearing it's just going to be 3 years. That clearly shows they've altered their plan. They've learned a valuable lessons. Early, you could say early. It's early days, really. They haven't gone too far. But that's, by the way, people. Apologies to those in the chat. The debate got heated, which is what I know you enjoy that yourself. So always something to learn. So I'm going to let Roger speak, and then I'm going to try to catch as much as what I can in the chat. But I like the last comment there. I just can't jump to it. Contender FC saying, "Nice one, coach. You're learning so much from Amazon Prime delivery on the promise and over deliver." I'll take that one. And this one on the screen says, Arsenal were thinking of putting Prime in a bag like milk in some countries, but they prefer to bottle it instead. I like that one. Roger, your response to the last question.
Actually, I missed the question. I couldn't quite hear it.
Oh,
Next.
He went to make the tea for himself.
I'm in my kitchen.
Yeah, we had that effect, I guess.
Yeah, swing it against
go ahead,
him.
Declan. Shoot the question.
Sorry,
Again.
my
question.
Yeah, Roger. My question was, do you think this season has changed the directions of the owners or the consortium that they had planned initially?
I think that's a strong possibility, and the reason why I say that is because of financial fair play. But what you chaps are forgetting is financial fair play. Yes, we're losing income because of loss of revenue from UEFA, being in the Champions League or the Europa League, etc. But that can be partially or entirely compensated for by increasing revenue, as in marketing, as in commercial deals. You seem to forget that. And that's what, this is a generalization, which is quite rude, if I'm being quite honest. But Americans are very good at marketing, and they have the commercial clout to expand our financial portfolio. So I think we should think twice about saying that being out of Europe is one of the nails in the coffin, because I don't think that could be the case, actually.
Well, if it happens for too long, it can only happen for 1 year. If it happens for more than a year,
yeah. Obviously, Obviously, the sooner we're back in Europe, the better. Obviously, that goes without saying. But however,
becomes a bit scary.
because you look at United. United have been able to overcome financial fair play circumstances in the last decade, and they haven't always been in UEFA or the Champions League, I should say. It's because they're one of the top 2 financial clubs in the world. First of all, they're traded on the publicly.
This is Manchester
market.
United we're talking about here.
Exactly.
With all due respect to Chelsea, I love our club, but
that's it. Okay, let me finish, and that's what I'm saying. It's because they have financial clout. They've gone quite inconsistent in UEFA Champions League, but they have a worldwide fan base that is pretty close second to none, and also that they have American owners, and they have a lot of, even though what are the owners have done rearranging their internal financial issues, that's something different. But we're talking about their revenue. They have a large revenue, and this is what I'm alluding to, that our new owners / conglomerate, I hope can actually instill and enlarge our financial portfolio with regards to revenue increases. This is what I'm alluding to.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I rest my case.
Just one second. I had to stretch my arm to do something. And you know how you dress when you do office meetings on camera. Usually, sometimes you wear a shirt or even a pajamas, but the top.
You're not wearing correct uniform today.
But I'm just kidding. Anyway, that's, by the way, Arsenal. Yeah, I put that one, and I like that one on the screen. I'm going to try to get much of what we have in the chat, and we'll move on to the items we'll have lined up. I'm seeing quite a lot of comments there. Some conversational. Contender FC, the coolest stars, also telling people we have just 11 more likes to get it to 100. Let's make it happen, people. We still have about, I think, hopefully my wife will be willing to help. But she's at home today, then we can go ahead, because this is flowing quite well. And we started an hour late due to some technical issues here. Chelsea is brutal this season. We don't speak on the matter. I like your name there. But that's, by the way, we'll move on. If Arsenal lose on Sunday, will City get trophy at game against CFC if they win? Why did I pay attention? Roger, are you well acquainted with the scenarios?
Yes, I am.
Okay, please go ahead. Educate us.
Yeah, if Arsenal lose, I believe Wednesday are they playing? I'm not sure when they're playing this week, during the week. Then I believe the title is already Cities. Yeah, so that's why.
And if they draw,
I'd have to look into that. I think
then Chelsea. If that's the case, then if they draw, then if City beat us, then probably they go.
Listen, they're 4 points ahead, and then if they lose or draw, they'll be 3 points ahead. But because of the goal difference, they would have to win in their final game, Arsenal, by over 20-something goals. So even though they're mathematically not eliminated, for all intents and purposes, they're eliminated. So they have to win, basically. So that's not going to transpire.
Yeah. If you speak and I don't hear you say for all intents and purposes, I'd ask for your ID. That's how I know Roger is the person speaking there. What else do we have? Let me try and catch up with what we have in the chat here. I think the highlight is going to be really, really slow. This says, imagine supporting Chelsea. I see. He's not a Chelsea fan. So I'm going to move on from what you're saying. Score. Okay. I'm not sure what to make of that. I hope Poch gets full control, like Starlin mentioned in the interview. And I actually, honestly, I do not want to look too much into what Starlin what he had to say with regards to the manager having more control. I think he was talking about the transfer activity also. That's the least of my concerns, but I get where you're coming from. And we also heard Poch mentioning not wanting the owners to visit the dressing room. To me, none of us, no way to confirm that's the case. Actually, that was what most people are saying led to the prolonged negotiations with the Chelsea hierarchy. And quickly, I want to talk about the 4-4-3 thing. I think it doesn't make sense until you show me a video where Bolly, the way he's mentioning that structure and question alien structure, then I agree. To me, it's all nonsense. And because we are at the vulnerable place, the content creators and the media that exploiting our vulnerability, putting out whatever they know that will make a measure of sense to some of us, and we'll suck up to it. I think that's how we are right now, unfortunately. But I don't believe that at all until you show me a video of him saying that. That's the only time I believe it. But you have every right to believe it if you want to. We'll move on from that. Let's see what else we have here. Quite a lot to catch up with right here. Lads, we're getting invited for the Super League. I think I've seen that myself. And my bro, a lot of people, Adebayo Martin just says volley needs to be told that we don't we don't just want to win, okay, but we win major trophies. We have a trophy pursuit mentality, and it has to be a sustained. Words matter. I think it does matter. We all can agree. Sometimes I think, I don't know, maybe he writes his speech by himself. I think as a billionaire, if I were Bali, honestly, I'd hire people to write speeches for me because sometimes, like for instance, using the language, we'll figure it out. See how lots of people took it and run with it. Most especially my good friend Johnny. He made it a title of a show. So such language, he will come across again. So a lot of people will see it differently. For me, I understand what he meant when he said that. But to others, it's like we're doomed. Something like that. Keep dropping the likes, people. Just 8 more. And Alex likes. I see your contribution there. Thank you for the donation. I'll get to it in a bit. But I want to oblige those who's been here for a while, and lots of, you can say, important stuff that I do believe we should be looking at. But I'm going to skip quite a few because we need to move on. Really, quite a lot to deal with. Let me see what we have here. And Glenn, my bro here, says starting a GoFundMe. IBZ, you better donate 10 quickly, buddy. I like that one, Glenn. So much. This one here says I had doubts. When he was throwing out money, yes, I have been on record to say during last summer that he was scattergun, and during winter window, I said he buys players when we lose games. Speak, Heston, I'm not here for us to be going back and forth. You have every right to, present your opinion there, or what you think is the case. As much as I have my opinion to say, I don't think that's the case. I don't think he just went into the market and signed those players without someone at the club saying we need this player, and especially the manager agreeing that they can work with that manager. And I'm going to keep saying the same thing I said even under Roman Abramovich. For instance, in the case of Romelu Lukaku, I get it. The rumors then was that Roman's son was the person that suggested that we go for Romelu Lukaku. But I still argue there's no way they signed the check. That's the term we're using that, but we know that's not how it works. They signed the check without Tuchel saying, yeah, Lukaku, yeah, I can make it work, if that makes sense. So we have to be objective here for, pointing fingers, and of which we have every right to do. Again, given where we found ourselves. Unfortunately, we need a better goalkeeper and a striker. A lot of people agree with that. And Gabriel here says there will never be another season as this. I hope that's the case. I sincerely do hope that's the case. Owners made their mistakes, yes, but have taken measures by bringing on board-capable people. Let's all look forward with hope and faith. Common Blues, yes, the Chelsea is the entity we support. No matter the manager, it doesn't help to say I'm not going to support Chelsea because Frank Lampard is in charge. Even though I hated the fact that they hired him as an interim manager, I'm still cheering my team. It's still the only thing is that I'm not too sure how deep down I'm going to be cheering them against Manchester City for obvious reasons. But I cannot get around to clearly saying I don't want us to beat them or even get a draw because I'm truly a Chelsea fan. But if that makes sense, whoever is in charge, I will support my team. This here says the money Bowley and Co spent that's from Constantine Dante, my Australian bro. He says Bowley and Co spent they needed to spend it as was in the contract also. And I think they didn't just spend it for the sake of spending it. I think they had to because they felt like they were doing the right thing.
We had injuries. Did you see our injury list?
Yeah.
Did you see our list?
So no matter how you see it, they spent it feeling like they were doing the right thing, feeling like we're going to be the best team in the whole world. They have a plan, but some of us, even I don't have clarity where we're headed to, but I still believe the future is going to be bright. But Constantine, sorry for everyone in the chat that it took so much time to get to your contributions in the chat, but it's because it was a heated debate, which we all enjoyed so much. We were told by Bali, and we were told Bali was going to hire a team with the DOF and all. It happened, but he was still too involved. FIFA, you can say FIFA grateful to him for buying us, but you don't know enough about football. That's a solid argument, but I don't think he still gets as much as that's my opinion. I think those things that are coming out after Potter was fired, and but then we didn't hear about him going into the dressing room during halftime against Wolves or so when we were losing us. I don't remember something to that effect. And it didn't come out until after the whole thing, the issues were escalating. People were, just nitpicking. I get it. I agree. Lots of mistakes have been made, but we're very vulnerable right now. And yeah, the Twitter journalists, especially, are exploiting our vulnerability. One example is saying it was James Corden that suggested what exactly, I don't remember. How do you really believe he spent a billion and then let a comedian suggest who he hires? I don't think so. But you have every right to believe that if you want to. Oh man, what did I miss? What's going? I think you missed the heated argument right here. And apologies to people. Apologies to the beautiful game. Declared you have some comments in the chat. I'm going to say hello to a lot of people. Okay, I definitely also listening to the fan without listening to professionals on all fronts is so irrational. Bali and Co. only grace was romance, a 1.5 billion loan write-off. I am hopeful they'll learn. I mean, if you believe that's the case and hopeful they'll learn, thank you for being. At least there's some measure of positivity there, and I appreciate it. Let's see what else we have here. Big up to you, DJ Sob, and everyone on the stream. Keep smashing the like button, people. We need just how many more? 5 more likes to get it to 100. So right now, Thomas Bays, hello to you. Unfortunately, I can't get everything, and we're running out of time. We have quite a lot to catch up with. Let me see. This guy is new here. Okay, no, he's not new. Just changed his name. Next season will be a good season. Something like that is worth reading. It cannot. I think we'll do better than most people anticipate. Believe we will do in the coming season. Coachella, this is an emotional issue. Oh yeah, I don't need Einstein to tell me that. People will not easily move on. I agree, but you don't expect people to be on everybody to see things the same way you see it. Well, we are all entitled to our individual opinions, and we're here to put head together. You present your opinion, I present mine, and then we'll come to a sensible conclusion. We move on. So my advice was only we need to start looking beyond their mistakes and believe that learn. It's not too late to say if we get to next season and they're still repeating such mistakes, then to me, that's when that's when I'll start saying we're in trouble. But right now, I still believe they didn't become billionaires by not learning from their mistakes and taking, you could say, corrective measures immediately, like I believe they're doing right now. One prime example being the fact that we're not in a rush to replace a ground butter with a permanent manager. That's one. And another example is the fact that Pochettino isn't getting something beyond 3 years. They've learned from Potter's case, who they gave a 5-year contract. So, yeah, that's a good sign for me. And publicly, they've practically saying, admitting they've made a mistake. It's no different from saying, we're sorry we made a mistake. It's a start. Realizing they made a mistake, which means they'd be seeking to solve the problems they've created from making those mistakes. It was refreshing to hear Sky Sports last night saying, whenever there's a change in ownership, there's always a period of turbulence and chaos. But then things things begin to settle down in most cases. Thank you. And I'm shocked to read that that's coming from the Bluetooth again. Roger, are you not moved, really, to be honest? Um,
Probably a
I can't
follow-up
believe you
message to that,
said
Judge.
that. Sorry?
There's probably a follow-up message, a joke after that.
No, that. I think I know him well enough
He
to know when
sucked you
he's
in.
serious.
There's going to be another message that
Roger, quickly, you take this one, and then I'll try to skip to the very bottom. What are your expectations for Mr. Poch? That question is from Jerry Z.
So honestly, question that I have to pose is the same as with Potter: is how much time are they willing to give a manager / coach and his staff? It's that simple. As I said, all joking aside, my number one complaint is, regardless of your feelings for Potter and his coaching staff, is I believe Chelsea, specifically more so than other Premier League teams, they have a trigger finger, a very itchy trigger finger. And, you know, I hear the argument, well, football is big now compared to 22 years or so ago when, or before that, before Sir Alex Ferguson took over. But at the time, football was big then. So we can look in 20 years' time and say today's football is insignificant to 20 years in the future. So you can't really argue that, logically speaking. And I believe that basically we pull the trigger way too early. I believe that a coach should be given 1 to 2 years. Are you there, by the way? I can't hear anybody. The static's gone.
It's all you.
Oh, okay. So it sounded like it went dead all of a sudden. So the reason why I say that is, regardless, let's say Poch has honestly, it all depends on A, injuries, and B, how many players, or how many players is the squad trimmed by, more specifically. According to most experts that have played the game and coached the game at the highest levels, it's not sustainable to coach a squad of 34 plus players. Plus, you've got like 22 out on loan. So technically, on the books, we have over 55 players in the squad, technically speaking, that are senior players. You know, not in the B team and so forth, and under 17. So that's by
Roger,
any stretch of the
did we really
imagination,
have that many
substantial.
players?
Hold on. Yeah, we do. Have a look. Go to the site. Have a look on who's on loan.
Okay,
and then,
but with injuries,
we had it.
we had a lot of players, but we had a lot of injuries.
Oh yeah, so we had 11.
So was it? Maybe it was manageable. Maybe in terms of training.
Listen. According to virtually every person that has played and has coached at,
I agree with that. What I'm saying is that with the amount of injuries we had,
yes,
it wasn't that many players in training, the number of players that we have in the squad, and because the injuries was a problem, everyone's brought that up, right?
Yeah,
could have probably training was probably manageable with that many players out.
Okay, Richard, go ahead.
Yeah, well, actually, that's not the case, because according to people that have gone to the training sites and made reports, like for Sky Sports, and BT, they said there's over 30 players. So listen, they bring players in. Don't forget that are going to be playing or could potentially be on the on the bench. So I don't know. As I said, I've never coached at that level, so I can't give credence to it. But when you see virtually everyone at the highest level all agree that it's not sustainable, you can't succeed at this squad size, then one could only imagine. I'm not making excuses. This is what everyone says. They point to one of the biggest reasons, and it's a good thing that we had a big squad in some regard, because of the 11 injuries and 1 suspension at one point. I mean, that's decimation. But I believe that assuming it is Poch, whomever it's going to be, I believe he should be given a greater period of time, because listen, Alex Ferguson wouldn't succeed in today's market. It's that simple. He wouldn't have been given the opportunity. He didn't win anything for his first 6 years, if I'm not mistaken, or at least the league. I think he won an FA Cup in his 4th season. I mean, and this is a conglomerate of a club. So You know, to me, Chelsea have been spoilt, and rightfully so, and thankfully so, I should say, over the last 19 years. You know, but I have an issue with us keep on pulling the proverbial trigger. I really do. That was my main complaint.
All right.
And I think it should go for a minimum of 1.5, 2 seasons, especially if there's extenuating circumstances. That's my point, gentlemen. And I'll say the same for Poch or his successor and going. It's illogical.
Yeah. Let me catch up with the chat. Well, let's move on to that, please. I don't think we don't have.
I'm going to head off. It's great
All
to
right.
be here.
I appreciate you for bringing the fire onto the panel. I appreciate that. I know if you had more time, you'd be joining us
as well. Big up,
thank you so much,
Coach. Big up yourself as well.
Yeah,
Roger,
big up. Thank you so much. I think it's been an excellent. It's been a delicious decision. That's the only reason why I missed the club, even though I don't like this points, but I miss it. Much
don't worry, I think
brother.
when the season comes, it will be more funny.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that.
When we link to every single player.
Thank you, brother. Out there, we appreciate the compliment, bro. We thank you so much for saying that. I may not post much, but I am with everyone. Like Coach said, air your opinions respectfully, because you paid membership feels does not give you the right to cross the line. Thank you. That was exactly my mind, but unfortunately, I think I will have to end the membership thing after this month. I'm looking for a while before I start again. And be sure, I don't think I'm ready for it. And I wasn't going to do it. I was only somebody advised me to do it, and I did. But I think I need to end it. I want everybody to feel like they're equal here for a while until I find a structure that will help me, isolate things properly and not have issues with that. Out of all strikers we are linked with, we end up with Lautaro Martinez, just a hunch, not a feeling. Arsenal, Banter FC, the worst butlers in the Premier League. They will always remain pretenders in my eyes. I saw Glenn tweet something showing two ways, and one is Bottle Avenue, and one is one road leads to the Premier League, and Arsenal took the one to the Bottle Avenue. That was hilarious. Roger, stick with Potter stick with Potter for far too long after January. Was that a mistake, considering that eventually they did fire him? And wasn't that also honest decision after January? Here's the thing, Roger will always tell you, they stuck with him for far too long. And one of his arguments is that they fired him at the wrong time. They could have, and I agree, they should have fired him before the international break so that whoever comes in will have, again, some time to work with the players. But we're not here to be going back and forth. So I'm going to scroll to the very bottom. Apologies to everyone there. Quite a lot to catch. As much as I enjoy interacting with you, if I try to do that today, and I see my bro Almighty Blues in the chat, apologies, I couldn't get to you because it was a heated debate and I was a little too much. The chat was on fire. But people, please go check out his channel. Be sure to subscribe and let him know I sent you. That's my bro from another mother there. And anything else okay, just saying hello to him. I'm going to scroll to the very bottom and manage it from there because we still have quite a lot to catch up with. And hopefully my wife will be able to help so I don't have to run and try to catch up with anything else there. Here's Stanley here, 11 more likes. I think we have just 2 more likes. But thank you for mentioning that. I appreciate that. And Tanowo, is that the name? Tenaro, nice to see you. I agree with Poch. If he vows to bring Kane, but as for Rafinha, I do differ, and I believe Colwell should now command the place in the first team. I didn't actually need to see his performance at Brighton to ask for him to be brought back. I think he's coming back. It's obvious, and I like it that the Zervi is speaking very highly of him. Again, it speaks very highly of him. I think that will go a long way in letting our new owners know that's one player we have to do whatever we can to bring back. And here, Kachila wanted big up to you, too, brother. All I can say is keep up the good work. We are the Blues no matter what. And I appreciate you saying that. And Alex, thank you so much for the donation here. And I have to tell you this, you don't even actually need to donate for me to get your comment. But we do appreciate donations. I just wanted to explain why, even though I saw it, I had to still continue with the process until it can, if in the future that changes, that's fine. But I appreciate the donation. He says, Arsenal made too many draws and lost many points. I think that you can say, yeah. And to me, I'd argue that's down to lack of experience. They don't have experience in depth. They have a few experienced players, but not too many of them. Too many young players, and I don't think they. Even though I've always argued they have the spirit, but I still believe they will, maintain the place in the top four. But may well end up not winning the league, and I think that's what's going to be. If Arsenal lose on Sunday, it's game over. But if they win, then we need to feel that on the on on the fives of a City, because I know that a typical Lampard is going to do a madness. That's the City game is actually one of the games I'm feeling like we may well win, but I'm not sure how to feel. I feel like I'm feeling the urge to wish for something else to happen, but I'm not the type to say. I'm not going to say anything here. Thanks for the super chat, Alex. Thank you so much, Alex. We appreciate that. And Contender FC, thanks for thanking Alex. Alex, we appreciate you. Welcome to the community. Feel at home. Express yourself. As long as you keep it civil, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for that donation. You will go a long way for the channel. But like I said, sorry it took so long to get to it, even though I saw it earlier. But that's how we operate here. What else do we have here? We have good day to you too, Chama. Always nice to have you there. I appreciate that. Lampard can donate the title to City by resting players. After all, nothing to fight for. Not even his career, because his loss percentage is too high. But rather, let's say this: there is the sort of lineup that we will field, and the FA will have an issue with it. It will just be clear that we actually want City to win it over Arsenal. You go ahead.
What's that?
There's a sort of lineup that we will field against City.
Oh.
Let me say, an inferior lineup. Let's say select the B team, a field a lot of academy players. The FA will have an issue with that, wouldn't they?
Yeah, of course. It has to be a competitive lineup. And listen, regardless of who we choose, whether it be Carney, Chukwueze, or whomever, he could put out all the youngsters, and it's still on paper a competitive lineup. These are good players. I see Frank. Because of his competitiveness and his reputation, etc., etc. I think he's going to put out a strong lineup. As I said, this is pre-season, basically a prelude to pre-season. So, who do I envisage him? Maybe he's going to be cautious with certain players that are on the fine line because of injuries or muscle sorenesses or nicks or whatever. Yes, that could come into the equation. Other than that, he'll field a strong team. I'm sure of it.
But clearly, if he doesn't, the FA will have an issue with that. If we overdo it, there was
Well, it depends. Because of the amount of players that we've spent in that January window, I actually don't think they would have an issue, because he could say, you know what, I want to see how they play going forward. Because these players.
No, if you feel like all the new signings, we spent money on them. You can't say we're building an inferior team. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I think, if you look at the acquisitions, like if we put Datra Fofana, we've been playing Badiashile. If we, João Felix, Mudaric, Madueke, okay, we don't have Gusto and Enzo Fernandez. So these. Then you've got people like Amari Hutchinson, Carney, Wesley Fofana. These are, I think the players that we've acquired. I think, and then you have players like Hall who have played previously that have a resume, even though however small it is. I don't think that would ever come into consideration, because even our on the fringe players, shall we call that, quote unquote, I still think that they have gravitas to them, potentially speaking. So I don't think that's the case.
Mm-hmm. All right, thank you so much for clarifying that. Yes, people, we were at 100 likes. It keeps dropping. Sometimes I think Google did do. I don't know how to phrase it for my point to be clear. sometimes they do something, they check the likes. If anyone seems as if it is fake for them, they cut it up, but later it may well come back. But 99 likes, that's why sometimes you need cushion. We need like 110. Let's get the likes up, and please do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I think we've gotten more than 20 likes today because we're 10,804 subscribers. 200 more to get it to 11,000. I know we'll get that, and by the summer transfer window, I think we'll probably be at 15,000. So thank you for the growth of the community. We sincerely do appreciate that. And what else we have here? Pochettino is taking the job because we ain't getting relegated. You could argue that. You could argue it took us time to decide. Probably, have been, presenting other reasons as to why maybe delaying, finding a way to delay the negotiations, and to be sure we're staying up. You could argue that, but there's a chance he was also sure that we're going to stay up. A lot of people were, for instance, my bro DJ says he never felt like we were going to get relegated, but to me, I think otherwise, because as long as it's mathematically possible, it could still happen. It could have happened, sorry, as long as it was still mathematically possible at the time. Yeah. But yeah, Choma, thank you for saying that. I appreciate that contribution. Which journalist was that? The one that floated the news that a comedian suggested Lampard to Boli. I think it's hard to tell. What time should I use for it? The beginning source. There's no way to tell again who started that rumor. But by the time it gets to us, it's everywhere, and it would take some time for you to see who's quoting who and see where that starts. And I didn't take my time to do that because it sounded like absolute nonsense to me. And the Blue TV game says that's just a perspective, coach. You are way behind. That was a long time ago. My opinion has changed since then. Roger, I'm guessing you know where he's coming from with regards to that positive comment that we were shocked that was from him. Yes, people keep dropping the likes on the stream, and also do subscribe to the channel. The likes do go a long way. Thank you so much. Arsenal quit. It was glorious. Yeah, hit the like button, people. The likes do go a long way. I think we all like that. And this year from Guanfi, Ines Guanfi, I think that's how you pronounce their last name. Correct me if I'm wrong. Chelsea will be ruthless next season. Trust me. I believe we'll do better than a lot of people think we'll do. That's how I feel. Arsenal quit. It was glorious. Yep, hit the like button, people. And what else do we have here? Dynamic likes on the way. Sometimes, trying to like it multiple times can actually hurt the likes count. I swear 3 other people are rigging the likes with me. What is that? But I'll move on from that. We have a few stuff to catch up, and I think we're just going to breeze through them, so to speak, except if I'm going through them and Roger has anything to say, he can go ahead and do that. And here we have the mentality effect is what affected Arsenal, affected our way towards winning the UEFA Champions League, and Man City UEFA Champions League struggles. We must protect that mentality at Chelsea at all costs. Our top mentality gives trophies. And here, let's say Frank thinks he can save a face by beating City. He's as deluded as Gunners. I think he, as a Gunner, I think he is capable of doing that. We're rigging the likes. No, we're not. Please, I'm not going to read that again. Not to get the channel into trouble. I swear, again, it's me, 2 to 3 other guys. Oh my goodness. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. Coachella, you did skip checking the statistics of Angie. Stop making me pronounce that name. Potiskerglu, if you can share the link where I can find it quickly, maybe we'll have time to go through it. But we have to. I haven't had the time to actually look at it on my own, let alone now. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. We're at 99 likes. Let's get it to 100. Again, and more. Some cushion on it. Coach Poch coming to make these boys, fit and running. I think I've read, so much with regards to how he likes his teams to train. He doesn't take any nonsense. Just give me 1 second. Let me take Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, the wife was at the door, so I had to tell her we have a few minutes around up here. Let's see what else we have here. Post Ikoglu. Maybe. Thanks for the syllable to help me learn how to pronounce his name. I appreciate that. Let's get into this. Roger, if you see anything you want to address, that's fine. This congratulations to the women's for the Chelsea women's team for winning. The women's FA Cup, and the women's league is still going on, and it looks like they're going to run away with that one too. I think at least that simply means we would end the season with trophies. I don't know, Reg, if you have anything to say, you go ahead, or should I just move on?
No, I actually forgot that the final was on yesterday. I was kicking myself.
But you were probably watching the Man City game. I think they were on at the same time.
Yeah, but I totally forgot it was on yesterday. And I was watching the game yesterday. I watched several games yesterday, but it's especially over that team. Listen, United played well in the first half. They came close several times, but she's a habitual winner, isn't she? She's just great.
She's done well with them, and she's gotten all the opportunities, but refused to go. Says she loves it there.
Yeah, I would like for us to win the Women's Champions League. That would mean a lot. But they've come up against a prolific Barcelona team and Lyon and so forth there. But I think their time will come. I do.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate that. What else was I going to say? Just quickly, congratulations to them once more. Hopefully they win the league. And it simply means we're not going to go through the season without winning anything. This year says it's understood that Mauricio Pochettino's arrival is coming too late to save negotiations with Mason Mount. I think that ship is sounding like it's sold already. It's being revealed Mount was offered a one-year extension by Chelsea in February, but this was flatly rejected and seen as a ploy simply to raise his transfer fee. Relations between the players and the players' representatives and the club are at all-time low. I think this makes sense.
You know what though?
Yeah.
If Poch comes in, and from what we hear, which means zero, I get that, I understand that. But if we are to believe reports that Poch is a fan of Mason Mount, and there's no reason to doubt that, because he believes in having a very fit team, and B, he loves the press up front and in the middle. He demands that. That's what his whole football ethos is built on. It's very similar to Klopp, where he plays with a back four, and his right and left backs, they go up very high, just like Liverpool's. That their football philosophies are virtually identical in that regard. The only difference is that Pochettino usually has a midfielder that drops back into a back three centre back in transition, where Klopp seldom ever does that. That's the only difference. Other than that, they're very similar in that regard. Very. So I think Mount will fit like a glove, in my opinion.
But there's also a chance he's already made up his mind. He wants to.
No. And that mind can be changed. If he gets on, if the relationship is built and Mount excels under Pochettino, there is a possibility, assuming he stays healthy, that he could change his mind and say, and Poch could actually say, I can build the team around you. However he wants to term it, words to that effect. You'll be an integral part of our team going forward. You know what? I don't see why he can't change his mind, or if he hasn't already, or he could point it in the direction of choosing to stay at Chelsea. Who knows? Listen, he's been there since the age of, I believe, 8. So his loyalties, even though this is a business decision, are firmly with Chelsea. So there's many pros that could lead us to believe he could indeed stay. It really depends on how the team performs under Poch and what relationship he builds under him.
Yeah, and beyond his loyalty to Chelsea, the truth remains his decisions will be, will be driven by what he believes will be good for his future. It's a job for him. Yeah, I understand what you mean. But thank you for that, Roger. What else do we have here? A couple of other things to take a look at. Mauricio Pochettino will be in London this week. You see why you shouldn't be believing all, especially the Twitter journalists. They were saying with certainty, if you paid attention to what they were saying, that he was already at the airport and he was going to be in London yesterday. And this was what day is this? This was 14th. That's yesterday. But people were saying that he was going to be in London yesterday. But this says this week, no specific date mentioned, to sign the contract as new coach, expected to be valid until June 2026. Poch will start discussing transfer plans with the club, new striker, and new midfielders. But that's right away, Richard. Quickly, one thing, I don't know if Bobby if he has anything to add to that, but just quickly, this is Constantine Dante just laughing at the brutal figure Mybro trying to help him pronounce something. Hi, coach. I still cannot get used to this photo of Poch in blue. His face expression and smile, you know what I mean. I understand clearly, brother. Much love to you. So we'll move on from this one. Yeah, this one, nothing else here. Roger, what I want to ask you, people, we've heard that Pochettino wants Lautaro Martinez. There's no way to confirm that. You cannot, I wouldn't actually call him a striker. He's more of a creator for me than he is a forward. But forwards do create too. There's also Osimhen rumors that we're also interested, and we're serious about getting Osimhen. But I don't think we have that luxury to be spending that much money on a player who we've heard is not going to come cheap. If anything, it's going to be something north of 80 million pounds plus, because they've been mentioning 115 million euros. So it should be up to something north of 90 million. So let's say 100 million. So what do you think will happen? But also, if you have followed Poch, Osimhen right now, as much as I think is good, if Poch, to me, I still have to look at it deeper to get a good understanding whether he's actually. I've seen him play with any what you usually refer to as a stereotypical number 9. I don't think I've seen him do that, because Ken isn't a stereotypical number 9. He's well-rounded. So what do you make of it? And according to Contender FC, thank goodness Eugene isn't here. I think he could have started a fight. But Roger, what do you make of it? People are saying he wants Lautaro Martinez, and Lautaro isn't going to come cheap either. So what do you make of it?
Yeah, coach, much like myself, I think you need to recalibrate your understanding of the market, because 4 or 5 years ago, 30 million I thought was obscene for a starting player. And now you don't even get a ball boy for 30 million anymore. It's just ridiculous. It's obscene figures. The numbers have gone from just 2 or 3 years ago for 50 million. And now it's realistically a solid starter for an elite team is about 50 to 75. It's just obscene. So it's this monopoly money, coach.
Here's where my concern is coming from, Roger. I get it. The cost of the players isn't my issue. It's the fact that most likely, and no matter how anybody sees it, the club's priority will be divided in the summer. I believe, let's say at least 50-50, half of it will be sell players, get money and balance the books, and then use some of that to buy players. I don't think every money we make from selling players will go into buying players. Because we're minus 200 million plus, right?
Give or take a shekel, yeah.
Yeah, so you get my point now. That's where I begin. That's where my argument comes in with that we don't have the luxury to be spending too much money in the summer or anything close to what we've spent this window.
I'm sure in Poch's negotiations with the football directors that they have sat down and discussed what his budget is, if any at all. So I think they have an understanding of what players that they both agree they should keep and what players they believe that they should depart with. In conjunction with the fact that you have to understand the financials, and I think he would have been debriefed on that. And they would have come to some understanding that it's going to be between 0 and X amount of pounds that they can afford to spend on X amount of players. And
Yeah.
that would have been agreed to. Otherwise, he would have wasted his time signing a contract. So it's that simple. These are the parts of the negotiations. What backstaff can he bring? What players do they believe? If they don't forget, you're looking at the Win Stanleys, the Vivels, etc. The football directors. They have to be on the same page as him with regarding football philosophy. What players can they have going forward, what they believe, the type of players they're looking for in each position. And therefore, then they have to discuss what are the means how to address this. And so he is probably well acquainted with the fact that he will get 0 to X amount. And so it's hard to speculate because neither of us are a fly on the wall in those negotiations. But would I want him coming in? Probably not, actually. This Martinez guy.
Because I think he's not the most physical. If we're going to be signing him to play as a striker, I don't think it makes sense. Because that's what most people are referring him as a striker, actually, as the striker options. Some of the options we're looking for to bring in as a striker. I don't think he makes sense. But I'll wait to see. But you go ahead.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what Poch's and the executives' thoughts are with regards to Lukaku. Have they told him, listen, you're going to have to use him for the next year because we can't financially, renege on the contract or sell him. It's just we can't take that financial hit because of the UEFA Champions League debacle. So therefore, you're going to have to use him for 1 year. Then going forward, we can get this amount. Or they have probably said, yeah, Lukaku's out of here. Don't worry about him. And you can spend this much. We don't know. But I'd be interested to see how, if he is lumbered with Lukaku, how does he address that? And then like Broja. I think Broja, he could mould into a Kane-like figure. I'm not saying he's going to be as good, but his dimensions are very similar. He reminds me
But you never know. He's still very young.
Yeah, he's young and he's coming off a very serious knee injury, So it's going to be interesting to see what acquisitions we do indeed make, if any, and what positions. It's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, thank you so much, Bobby. I see you want to add something. Please, you go ahead so that we can call it a day. I am. Yeah, I know I have somebody that can help, and I have to help.
Yeah, I thought I'll just, since I'm here, I may as well try and say something since you don't like me talking.
Did you see the accusation? And I knew he was going to say that.
And Coach just left me. It's okay.
Go ahead, Bobby.
It's okay. I just wanted to say that I'm not sure about this Martinez talk. I watched Nkunku quite carefully yesterday, and I don't see what Martinez would bring to the table that Nkunku is not there to bring. Also, is he coming instead of João Felix? I'm not too sure of that dynamic, to be honest, and I'm not sure if that's true. The out-and-out number 9 that we are allegedly looking for has to be one of the top table priorities. I would forget Armando Broja next season. You don't come back from that sort of injury and start playing the next season. I think he is probably going to be earmarked.
Specifically, don't put too much pressure on him, or don't expect too much from him.
Not just that, his capability. I don't think he'll be capable of playing up to scratch. It will be quite unusual if he is. I think he'll be earmarked for a loan spell. And it's unfortunate because he just got out of that cycle, but his injury has put him right back into it. And his loan would be just like in the case of Ruben, and as was in the case of Callum Hudson-Odoi, would be just to get some strength put back into his muscles in and around the injury and get him back used to playing. And then the season after that, we'll see whether he's capable of achieving anything near what he was potentially about to achieve. That is the danger of these injuries to young players. They, especially when they haven't fulfilled their potential. Look at Ruben. Ruben, because of his flexibility, has managed to still stay at the pinnacle of football. But it's dangerous. I'm not sure Callum would ever get back to anything near what his potential was meant to be. And I fear for Broja. I really do. I hope I'm
Yeah.
wrong. But I
But
do fear.
Bobby, there is
It's a legitimate concern.
hold on,
It's very common with players who are out for a long time. Go ahead, Roger.
yeah. With all due respect, Bobby, I completely agree 100%. But if my memory serves me correctly, Rubens was an Achilles and Broja's was a knee, anterior cruciate, if I'm not mistaken. So,
Yeah.
and then
And I wouldn't say Ruben isn't back to his best because he hasn't
no,
played in his preferred position. But go ahead.
sure,
And
but
Callum was Achilles as well. Yes, there are different types of injuries.
completely,
You're
and the
very right.
technology now, you can come back and be at where you were prior to within 9 to 12 months now, depending on how your body heals. Everyone's
No, or how
body.
you're able to deal with it mentally.
Well, yeah,
More
that too,
importantly,
but
yeah.
not necessarily, because physically, it's all about how do you gain strength in your surrounding muscles, and also how you've compensated in other areas of the body. So it's all about the healing process. Everyone's body heals differently, and then so if indeed he's able to be a median average recovery, you're looking at 9 to 12 months. Look at in the NFL, you have that kind of injury, and they're 6 to 9 months, and that's a very physical sport. Don't forget. So it's very different from 20, 30 years ago how they operate now on the knee. So I
Right.
think there's more optimism to be given to Broja's injury than Ruben's. That's all I wanted to say, Bob.
And he's still, again, as you can say, he's still very young. And Bobby, anything else, please? We don't have time. I don't have time on my
Coach.
side.
No, I think
No,
Roger's
Bobby wanted to
right.
say something.
I think Roger's right. Although the anterior cruciate and the Achilles are both sort of adjacent weight-bearing structures,
Yeah.
the Achilles is more mechanical and, of course, carries more significance than perhaps something like the anterior cruciate, which, although it is an adjacent structure, doesn't necessarily, and this is a very bold thing to say, have too much impact on the functional nature of moving the knee. Those are technicalities down to the experts as to how they'll
Yeah.
deal with it. But I do see that there is scope for more hope with Broja than with the other two types of injuries. Of course.
Yeah.
Right, thank you so much. With that, I want to say thank you to everybody on the panel, IBZ who was on the panel, also to Roger Pop, my bro, and Bobby, my bro. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all, and everyone else who was in the chat, from DJ Sub to Contender AFC, JC, big up to you, brother, and the Blue Tip again, thank you, brother, and who was Constantine Dante, everyone else, I appreciate you all, and Adebayo, my bro, I appreciate you. Thomas Bays, I appreciate you. If I miss your name, apologies. I'm only human. I'll see you guys next time. God bless us all, and bye.
Thanks, gentlemen.